Welcome to Sad Boys, a podcast about feelings and other things also. I'm Jarvis.
Get to do the Western snap. Sepia tone. Howdy.
Fuck.
I said Howdy.
Howdy? You want to give
We
it
can
another
edit
go?
it, right?
Yeah. Howdy.
Let me get a roll.
Sam.
D. Howdy. I sound like a Westworld character.
It's just the boys today.
What's up? Don't click off. It's just the boys today.
It's just the boys today. We've got a fun docket of fanciful treats. So today we're going to talk about AI girlfriends, a plague that's sweeping the nation. That's in the thumbnail probably, and a lot of wholesome stuff. You've got a weird tier list I haven't seen that you want to do. Yeah. I don't know. It's just going to be a jam-packed, fun episode. We're trying some new things today. I think it'll be a good time.
We're big chilling today. We're recording a few things. So if you recognize the outfits across a few different pieces of content, hey, look me up, pal. Seriously, Howdy.
Wow. Sake. You gotta fix that.
I'm not American. I don't know.
It's
I think
fucking
in the UK,
me up,
it's
dude.
like scowly.
It's making me angry.
What's the UK equivalent of that? Pip pip.
Yeah.
Hark.
Okay, when people say cheerio. Yeah. That's when you're leaving, right?
Yeah. Cheerio or ta-ta.
Ta-ta.
But that's on the posh side of things.
Right.
I grew up saying ta-ra.
Ta-ra.
I believe I learned it from a friend of mine who's from Telford, which is, I think, a little more in the ta-ra game. Where I grew up, it's right or cheers. Cheers is a goodbye. Cheers, my love.
Do you know about Gotham? Or is that how you say
Got him.
the British city? It's spelled Gotham, but it's like what the inspiration.
Gotham or Gotham.
It's like Gotham or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. It's a very tragic story. I watched a whole true crime video about it. But there was a man who dressed up. Yeah, it was just I think it was called History.
No.
Yeah. It was. I feel like with this pillow, it doesn't look like I'm wearing pants. I'm wearing shorts, so I'm not wearing pants.
Yep.
But no, it was a true crime video about a guy who, unfortunately, was unwell and underserved in that regard. But dressed up as the Joker and terrorized the public. And so then you would go around Gotham or whatever, and you'd be like, and the police would be like, have you seen the Joker? And they'd be like, not today, but yes, of course. And I'm like, that's such a bizarre.
I suppose that's probably what life is like in Gotham, is the cops being like, hey, have you seen the Joker?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, sometimes, yeah, he does stuff.
Yeah, I think that the story goes that whoever, like, Gotham was the Gotham inspiration. It was like the creator of Batman, who I actually do not know. You know who created Batman?
Bill Finger.
Is that real?
Bill Finger is the often not credited one that was actually responsible for it.
Well, then I don't know who it was exactly, but it's a situation where they like read it in some book, and then they were like, "Oh, it actually sounds kind of sick."
Bob Kane and Bill Finger.
Yeah, and then they just pronounced it different. But I do believe that the British city was the inspiration.
Jacob, go ahead and pull up Bob Kane's original design for Batman, by the way. He's just some fucking guy.
What?
He's just some guy.
That's like kind of... Why does that go
there
hard,
he is.
though?
He looks awesome.
That is just a guy.
And
he is a bat.
It's just a domino mask, which I think is fun. The only thing about him being a bat is the wings.
You know what's wild is that original Batman looks like Robin.
Yeah, he does. He looks like a real boy wonder.
So
if I was white and I had that kind of hair, I would do a little cute coif like that.
Yeah, you would actually, I think, be way more famous.
Yeah, for sure. I do little backflips and shit. I do
with that accent, people love you.
Oh yeah, you're right. I play Minecraft.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. You would be Tommy in it.
I would be Tommy coming.
Jordan in it.
Guys, I'm playing Minecraft today and seeing how many whatever.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's also the kindest guy. Tommy, in it. Shout out. Also very mature, very good head on his shoulders from what I've seen and from what I've heard. I've met him once.
Based on my notes.
He said, "I'm Tommy," and I said, "Hey man."
He said, "Howdy." Howdy, Jarvis.
Jordan, how was your week?
But before we get into that, let's talk about today's sponsor, Aura.
Aura is an app that helps you control what private information is shared about you online,
There is a ton of information that can be found out about you online.
including your full name, home address, phone number. The list goes on. The reason this information is accessible is that there are these data brokers who can profit by selling your information.
Aura has got your back because it will identify the locations of this information and automatically submit opt-out requests.
We both use Aura, and one of the best features is how they keep you up to date about data breaches, whether or not your data is affected. It's just nice to know that Aura is keeping on top of things.
And if any of your information has been compromised, Aura can give you recommendations on what to do.
Aura's app also features a VPN, a password manager, real-time credit and identity theft monitoring, parental controls, and protects your devices from malware.
So go ahead and let Aura do the hard work of keeping you safe online.
Head on over to aura.com/sadboys, that's us, to get a 14-day free trial of Aura and see what personal information of yours is out there.
Thanks again to Aura for sponsoring this video.
Now back to Sad Boys, the podcast that we
ones
do
we
together
are with that guy.
that we're on right now. You just keep watching.
Oh God, no.
Oh no, he's on the spot.
I'm so glad people can't hear me. I'm so glad this
bad
isn't being
news.
recorded.
It is, but so far you're
If Jarvis could hear
batting
me,
zero.
if Jarvis could hear what I was thinking right now,
You're saying what you're thinking right now.
I'm so afraid, but he thinks I'm brave. Thank God.
I do think you're brave.
He couldn't do this without me.
That's true. No, yes,
I
true.
could. I forget what it was with Jacob. I was you hurt your knee. You tripped your knee earlier, and I went like, I said to Jacob, "There's a chance Sad Boys could continue without me. If Jarvis died on the stairs, you are unemployed." There's no way.
I've had a few close calls because I take the risk of wearing socks on my hardwood stairs, which I am not trying to do. I brought my socks down with me down here, but then I had to run, and then I put them on, and I had to run back upstairs to get something.
Coward.
And I was like, whoopsie doopsie.
What a rube.
But it's much easier than I have fallen down my stairs. But I feel like I've got some decent instincts when it comes to like tucking and rolling and trying to protect all of the appropriate bits. So I didn't end up hurting myself. So that was good. I mean, it hurt that I think I like scraped my foot against the stair. It's fine. Everything's fine.
It is a weird, like, I feel like we talked about it at one point, but there was just a period of time where falling over when you're a kid is like part of the ecosystem of being a kid.
Yeah,
like,
your
when's the last time
center
you
of
fall over
gravity is
today?
so low.
You just fall over, you get scrapes, you're like, ha, did you guys see me fall over? And some kids are better at falling over, some kids are worse at it, whatever.
Yeah.
Now, if I fall over, I'm hurt for the rest of my life. Like 2%. I just have a slightly lower max HP. I have this like
You're like an iPhone battery. It like gets worse over time.
Planned obsolescence.
Yeah.
I've got like I don't even remember why. I have this little like on the side of my thigh here. I did a bad stretch one time. And I'm like, well, that's kind of a nasty sound. Anyway, back to, oh, no, that's kind of getting me.
Yeah.
I'll like put I don't know, like some of that, like a painkiller cream on it or something. Maybe take a couple, let the inflammation go down. Have a shot of ginger. Who knows? Woke up the next day. I'm like, oh, I live. This is life.
Yeah.
I'm this. Jordan is. He includes, like this addition of me includes a bad leg now for life.
I hadn't had any sort of sprains or strains to my body through most of my life. I haven't ever broken a bone, and that has not prepared me for probably what's going to happen in the future. But I, when I was training for Creator Clash, I remember when I was like learning the motion to throw a hook. It's one of those things where if you don't do it right, which you won't when you're first learning something, you're like over twisting your back, you're twisting the wrong parts of your body.
Oh, is that how you hurt?
Yeah, and I like overextended my like back and ended up having to like nothing was ever that bad, but it was so scary, and you want to avoid like permanently, because you hear about back problems is like a huge thing that's like very difficult to fix. So I went to
as a precaution, I just immediately went to physical therapy, started doing a lot of core exercises, learned about like where I was and wasn't flexible and like what to work on. And then every single day after that, for like the duration of training, I took my foam roller, which is like over there, and I had foam roller exercises to do. I should still be doing them, but since I'm not doing much activity right now,
I have distinct memories of us kind of, because this was your last apartment, right? I have distinct memories of us kind of like ideating on new Sad Boys, like what Sad Boys going to be, and we set up that. It's a similar time period to the very first kind of return episode where we were in your office. That was, we were like brainstorming about that. I was crashing with you while I was looking for a new apartment in LA. And while I was with you, I have this distinct memory of like Curb Your Enthusiasm playing silently on the TV, Dipper trying to just like get in the nook of like my face, just doing his thing, and you sliding back and forth on the foam roller.
Like doing the roll.
There's something about like, you know, if I'm in like, if I get amnesia, you're like, I'm like a coma, it's like, Jordan, wake up, foam roller, and I was like, or I see Dipper and I'm like, foam roller, couch, Larry David.
Foam rollers are like $10-15, and I think you probably even find them for cheaper. And I kind of want to buy more of them so that I have them in every room. I don't care for the bumpy one, but I just don't like carrying them around. And I would like there to be a foam roller in every place that I go so that I could just do my rolls whenever I need to.
Apartment now, I mean, how many fucking places have I lived in the last 4 years? Like 6 apartments or something. The one I am in now is the first one with stairs. It's 3 floors, and if something's on a different floor, including like water, I'm like, I don't think I'm having water today. That's part of the reason we have like water for our guests and ourselves, I guess, down here, is because, you know, going up and down the stairs, I realize how much better, you know, I'm doing a lot of walking because of Pokemon Go. I also am doing a lot more tripping because of Pokemon Go, and because there's uneven sidewalks everywhere. Fucking dude, it's like hiking on the sidewalk. Seeing a baby stroller rock like an F1 vehicle, like losing its wheel. Yeah,
and I do the trip. You'll recognize this trip. You're like walking, and then you put your foot forward, and then your foot kicks like an elevated sidewalk because the sidewalk is like sticking up, and then you do one of these where you go and then you have to like catch yourself. I do that so often, but I haven't actually fallen, knock on wood.
Do you guys either of you actually, do you have this thing where by myself, even in the street no one can see me do it, I have this instinct to kind of do this aloof performance to react to it? So I'll stand up for the video version. Well, you can describe it if you like. So I like
all right,
walking along, hit the sidewalk right here.
Yeah.
And instead of just going like, and continuing with my life because who cares, I have to go like,
who put that there? Like just, that was actually, I did that on purpose, and that was kind of just like a wacky joke I do.
Just like so well adjusted.
Yeah.
My shit.
You guys seeing this?
Are you guys?
What the hell?
They don't freaking pave the roads over here.
Yeah, I think if like you forget your keys or AirPods case or something, and you'll walk like 20 feet from your apartment, and you tap and you go, like wobble your head, like who is this for? Like
I do that
as if someone's gonna see you turn around and go back to your apartment and go like, this guy's insane.
You do the gym to the camera where you're just like something happens, and you go,
okay. What's that? Do I killed you? Or whatever happens in that show?
What? I put your newborn baby inside of Jello.
Jim set my desk on fire.
Isn't he wacky?
What the hell? He's the likable one.
He's the likable one, and I'm bad.
Because I'm a nerd.
Yeah, because I'm a nerd.
Because I'm like socially not comfortable and ambitious with my job.
But I was going to say, I don't know why this was going to come up, but I realize I don't think I've gotten more in shape one thing, it's like, personally, I need to eat better. It's really, I've talked about this before. Last night at 2 a.m. I ordered Papa John's cheese sticks. Shouldn't have done that. There's no nutritional value there. I had already eaten. I didn't eat the food. I don't want to vilify, like eating
to get full and stuff. But like me specifically, I like make these choices that have no value to me and have just immediate regret following them, because it's not like nutritionally valuable for me. It's not something that I want to do. It's more like a craving, immediate like dopamine thing, trance that I fall into.
Well, the bastard British rat did bring you too many Kit Kats as well. I can't help but
no, it's okay.
To that.
It's okay. No, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. But I do think that I'm gonna try to make another effort to, I'm not trying to deprive myself of good things. It's more that I take it too far. It's like in college, it's like I stopped drinking soda, not because I want to vilify soda, but it's because I was drinking it instead of water. I was going through a 12-pack of soda a day. And for me, my brain only knows like one or the other.
Yeah.
And so I have to, it's easier said than done to moderate for me, because it's like, it's because it's hard for me to have things in my home. A lot of people with ADHD may identify with this and relate to this, because I've been following more like ADHD eating Instagram accounts, and I'm noticing memes and stuff that are like, oh, I get this feels,
compulsive consumption.
Yeah. And just like, eating for just to make, because it's, with ADHD, your like dopamine sources, or like your receptors for your dopamine, are not as effective. So it takes a lot more to get that benefit. And food is such a rewarding activity, brain chemical wise, that I think that's like one of the first things that comes to mind.
But like while chewing and swallowing it, and then when it's done, the sensation of being full is not as big a contributor to like, I don't think I realized till maybe post meds, maybe even a little earlier than that, I don't know. My family, a good number of my family are like, extended family, pretty long-term and intense drinkers. It's like booze has just always been like, my mom never drank, but the extended family, we like a drink, and I recognize now in retrospect this pattern where most of the people I know, especially in the US, don't drink that much or that often, but when they do, they're kind of sipping a cocktail, hanging out. And it made me realize that there is and my psych pointed it out, that compulsive consumption for me is alcohol, to the point where like I've had like IPA sat in my house for a little while, because me and Katie got just like a couple sets. We're doing like a Lost binge, and we both like a beer, and like, hey, we're here, we'll just buy a surplus. Yeah. And I can't not be drinking, and I don't like drinking slowly. So 1 to 2 beers for me is worse than nothing by like a big margin. You can probably partially remember it changed when I got meds, but like 2017, I was just drunk all the time.
Well, I remember that you were, definitely just drinking more.
I was just like hungover usually, and it was this like loop of I didn't know what I was. If I was drinking beer instead, I probably wouldn't have felt as bad. Just drinking too many spirit, right? But it was the getting home, excited to get home after maybe even a really effective day at work, and then I just want to sit down and play a little Overwatch. I don't know, and I can't enjoy it. Like, 'cause it's not expressing, I'm not getting the chemicals I need. Right. The house is a mess because I'm low, but I don't know I'm depressed, or I may not even feel depressed, feel numb. Right. And then there's just, hey man, there is a corner store right by my house. Yeah. There is cheap wine. I'm going to drink 2 bottles, sat playing Overwatch because I'm having a great time now. Yeah. And then the next day comes along, you feel a little bit more low. I would wake up with, that would be the moment where I would order, 30 chicken wings or whatever, and they're nice as you bite into them and swallow them, and then it brings you nothing.
Yeah, I always go like, okay, was that reward? Because like sometimes I'll like have a nice meal and I'll go, that was great, it was an awesome social experience. Maybe I was eating with friends and blah, 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 no regrets. You know what I mean? Even if I got dessert or a special treat, I don't think about it like that. But there are these times when it's like, I should just be asleep, first of all. But like last night I was like, did that did that really feed my soul? You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like I ate the food. Did I enjoy it? Do I want that? Was that really just like me kind of seeking a chemical reward rather than a sustenance reward? It feels like that's my vice, because I don't, I haven't been drinking alcohol lately. I think it's probably been like a couple months since I've really like had really anything, but even if I have a little bit, it was a month, but I only ever get tipsy now for social stuff because I get so much social anxiety that I'm like, you know what, let me just like take off the edges a little bit. And then it's very much
sorry, that's actually a very funny idea, as someone that's just like, I'm so shy, can I have some ketamine? I could have kept myself moving.
I really do like I in college and stuff would drink for pleasure more, and I still think if it's like a nice night, like a date night or something like that, then maybe I'll treat myself to like an old fashioned, I'll go pinkies up or whatever. But more recently, especially because I'm trying to learn more about like my own habits with regard to consumption, I will, and I'm also like, just like have a unfortunately high tolerance when it comes to alcohol. I will just get like a double vodka soda, immediately down it and go like, I'm trying to solve a problem. The problem is I need to be slightly tipsy and I can't get drunk. I haven't been drunk in so long because I feel sick before I get drunk. So that's a good natural curber for me to not get into that. And it's something I don't have any control over, which is like, I feel tipsy and nice. And then I just need to sip on water, because if I tip this boat any further, then it's going to capsize. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That is like a genetic advantage. Like maybe it's my Irish tolerance or something, where it is just like, don't get me wrong, I get hungover as shit, but there is like I'm already almost drunk. What if I got drunk and played Baldur's Gate? And it's like, I'm not enjoying Baldur's Gate more. I just already have a beer.
That's something that, and I don't want to glorify, I don't think either of us are glorifying alcohol in any way. We've only spoken about it in negative terms, but I do think that, it's okay to, drink responsibly or whatever. That's not a hot take, but I have never in my life drank alcohol and done something that uses my brain. Like, and like the fact that you would drink and like play like Souls games is so crazy to me, because it's like my brain doesn't even function like that.
My thing was like I would drink and make music. That was like when I got home, I learned to make music because I was just drinking and stuff.
That's crazy.
But the difference is like I tried getting into weed. Like, cause I used to smoke weed as like a kid or whatever, like a teenager, but then I moved to the US and it was like readily available, and I tried and it was better, but it just didn't work for me. It made me too paranoid, too anxious about shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, Ethan's very public about it. Ethan smokes a good chunk of weed.
He smokes that good.
Good chunk. One huge chunk.
Yeah,
bite every
give
day.
Me a chunk. You go to the dispensary, you're like, I'd like one chunk, please.
Yeah, I'm like nervous. I sound like a cop. I'll take a
and it's like, weed is legal here, right?
Of course, and I'm a smoke pot. I'm a pot addict.
Okay, you don't really need to tell me that. I'm just behind the counter.
Good, and it's a legal way to buy it.
Yeah, we're an establishment. We're regulated by the government. Everything's fine.
Okay.
You seem disappointed.
Do you sell anything bad?
So you're like a cop that wants to break the law?
No, I'm just a guy with a square shape on his chest.
Oh. With a square shape.
Can you talk into it?
Oh, it sounds like this is some sort of weird sting operation from a legitimate business.
Okay. No, fine.
But we do have ketamine in the back.
Okay. Oh
no. Bang, bang, bang.
Why is this all escalated?
That shooting me is still illegal.
Oh, can I tell a cop story real quick?
Yeah, please. It's about you wanting to be one.
Yeah, dude. This is my big pivot, my big announcement.
Can you imagine?
I become a cop.
The hearts we would break becoming cops.
Dude, dude, if I'm being honest, my inspiration was the cop slide. I want to live it myself.
He survived.
And he didn't get disciplined for some reason. Not for some reason. Why would he ever have been disciplined for riding in the slide? Anyway, we were, what was this? So, I went to a gala before my surgery, put on by Cutie Cinderella, Gala for Good, raising money for the rainforest related charities, hosted by Cutie Cinderella and Maya Higa.
I had to leave.
Thanks for having me.
I gotta find an excuse to wear the outfit I didn't.
Oh
get to.
yeah.
Yeah, I left town before.
But I went there. I was there with my friend, and we were in the Uber, and on the way to an after party. So after the gala,
it was more of an after gala.
It was an after gala. After the gala, I was tired. I was spent. But I had to force myself. I don't like to be a bailer. I don't like to be the guy that bails. So I was like, I'm going to muster the courage to continue being out. But first I need to go take Dipper out. So we like Ubered back to my place, took Dipper to potty, and then mustered up the courage again to leave, which is near impossible.
Respect.
Near
Jesus.
impossible.
Did you avoid sitting down? Because that would have been it for me.
I think I didn't change. I was in a suit, and I was like, if I change, it's game over. And so on the way to the venue, some normal bar, we're slowly approaching the curb for the Uber driver to let us out. And a cop flashes their lights and pulls over the Uber driver. And there was no chase. There was no pursuit. It did not last really any amount of time. It was like they go boop, and then the person pulls over immediately, right?
At the bar, you're like,
we're about to be at the destination. And I'm the reason I'm stressing how slow everything was occurring is because the driver then put his windows down. He said, I'm going to put the windows down just, as a act of courtesy. I'm going to put my hands on the wheel so that they can see where they are. Everything's calm. The officers approach, flashlight in hand. Don't move! Don't move! Open the door!
What the fuck?
Flashing the flashlight at us and stuff. And we're just like sitting in the back seat, like we were just in our little suits. And then
where would I move?
Yeah, and then I think he was trying to say something, and they like started shouting at the driver, and the driver was like, I'm an Uber driver. And then they were like, okay, he's an Uber driver. And it was like, I don't understand why things are so everybody's chilling. And the issue was that the Uber drivers windows were too tinted.
Oh, so they were going to shoot them clean.
They just said, you can't. Oh yeah, one of the guys was like, it was like good cop, bad cop. One of the guys was like, and then we were just like, relax, good sir.
You're being soy.
I don't know if you have like a anger meter that you have to spend every day, and you've like had a pretty slow day, so now you just gotta like blow your load on us.
Yeah, quota.
Yeah. And so he was like, I'm an Uber driver, these are my passengers. And we go, hi, we're the passengers. And then the guy's like, okay. And he can't hold it in. He can't hold in the anger. Yeah. So then he passes it over to good cop, and he's like, you can't, those windows can't be that tinted.
So much of cops' lives is trying to swag out an unreasonable claim.
Yeah, they just can't.
Yeah,
so
good.
They're just too dark. And I'm like, okay.
We're just why tell me I'm a passenger?
Yeah, and they're giving a lecture to the guy, and he's like, okay. And then he's like, I'm dropping him off. We're right here at the place. And they're like, okay.
There's also, I think, a very good chance they're not too tinted. I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, the car does have to pass an inspection for Uber. So
I do also want to note that it was at nighttime, so there is a limited visibility.
Why is it so dark
at nighttime? You tinted the sky.
You made my torch bright.
I can't see anything. It's okay.
He's got his eyes closed.
Stop it.
You're doing this thing where every now and then my eyes close really quick for a second.
Yeah. I can't see. You're blinking. Oh, sorry about that.
Stop. Then.
Yeah, the amount that things were diffused when he said I'm an Uber driver was like too much. Where he's like, I was like, who did you think you found? You found the window tint bandit or whatever, when like the guy he's driving around in like a Toyota Prius with tinted windows. I go into like happy go lucky, I'm just the nicest guy and I've never done a crime mode.
Pal, I'm one of the good ones.
I'm just like, well, I'm sorry, sir. Sorry to inconvenience you on your day. I'm just gonna go over here to please put down the gun.
Stop resisting.
I was in that moment, I was like, thank God I'm in a suit. Thank God I look really like put together and nice.
It's like a briefcase.
Because it really diffuses. It helps to, unfortunately, like it helps to diffuse the moment where you're like, no, sir, sorry, I'm an upstanding fancy man. Yeah. I'm on my way to a fancy thing.
It literally does matter that you weren't wearing a hoodie, which is crazy.
Which is insane. But that in the fact that my mind went, they're gonna look at me and they're not gonna be threatened. Is insane. Like the fact that I had to go like, is there anything threatening about me? Like I immediately have to like be effusive and like almost make myself small, like in a way of like, oh sir, please, I'm just playing Pokemon Go. That happened to me recently. A cop car
bang, 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 bang.
A cop car pulled up to me on my street. I was just like doing my coffee walk, and I think I stopped on like a park bench to like do a raid in Pokemon Go or something. And I totally have like a voice that I noticed like changed, where they're like, excuse me, sir. And I was like, you rang? No, hello. And they're like, sorry, have you seen some like a kid in a backpack walk around? I live near a school.
Who, Simon? No.
Yeah. And I was like, no, sorry, though I have to admit, I've just been looking down at my phone playing Pokemon Go. Ha 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 ha. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, sorry, I wish I would be more vigilant, officer. I'm just a dummy who's been trying to fight Gengar.
Yeah, no, seriously, come back.
No, but, and then
I was just watching a true crime video about how swag the police are.
Yeah.
Nice outfit. Did you make that yourself?
I was watching body cam bloopers from police who walk into Dunkin' Donuts and get a standing ovation or whatever.
And get something healthy, because
instead
not all
of
you
something the worst thing you could ever imagine happening on footage.
I was just thinking about how unfair it is that they have to be on all the time. What the hell's that about?
Yeah, just let them turn it off.
Yeah, turn them off. It's loud.
So that just reminded me of that.
They have to have a body cam on while they like piss.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, but before we move on, is there anything in terms of how I'm doing?
I was just gonna ask, what's up? We caught up a little before the show, but not much about this week.
I'm mostly good.
How's your nose?
Still recovering. Nose goes. Still recovering. Had a little scare yesterday where a friend of mine bumped me in the face very lightly. Mm-hmm. But it was like very painful just due to the nature of the surgery. And
I told you before, I ruined my mom's surgery.
Oh yeah, true.
As like a little kid, I stepped on her face after TV intercepted.
And it like lingered for a while. Like it felt like I'd been punched in the face for like 4 hours after that. But I called the doctor and they're like, if it's not bleeding and your nose is like looks the same, then there's not cause for concern. And I'm like, okay. But it's just I have to be on like extra high alert, and I've been careful, but it's like obviously like it was a freak accident of someone else, you know. I don't have to sleep upright anymore, which is nice. I'm still really fatigued all the time because it's going to be probably 6 to 8 weeks before. I think I have my follow-up in 6 weeks because there's still trigger warning for medical discussion of grossness. But there's like scabbing and stuff like that needs to like come out. And even if I put a Q-tip up there because I have to apply antibiotics every day, when I apply, I can feel these like hard parts in my nose that for sure is just like the scab that's eventually going to come out.
Good. I know I'm so wrong, but that feels awesome. That sounds so cool.
Well, I will tell you, and this is gross again, I'm warning you, there have been a few times when like a big scab comes out and it's like oddly satisfying.
Oh yeah.
It's like when I don't like the videos of people bursting like pimples and shit. but that is it comes out and I get excited. I'm like, yes.
Did you ever have acne or a lot of pimples growing up or anything?
Not a ton. I did have some, like, I think my skin has become less oily over the years, and so I used to get knock on wood. I used to get pimples more.
Well, my theory is, because I was the same, I was very light in pimples as a youngin'. I think the pimple popping satisfaction comes from people that had a decent amount growing up, thus, or even just an average amount, thus have a more positive association with it, like more satisfaction, and a desensitization to how gross it is.
Well, I would agree in general with that, but I will also counterpoint that some people are just freaks.
Freaks, they're nasty, yeah.
And do you know what a botfly is?
Yeah.
I learned in like high school or something about people who watch botfly bite like bursts, and it's the videos are everywhere on the internet, and it is so gross.
Don't look it up.
People don't look it up. It's nasty unless you're like into that. But it's little so freaks. Nasty.
This is if somebody was to comment, this is like shaming or whatever. Yes, it is. You're a nasty freak. You're nasty,
and that's gross.
You're a nasty freak. It's cool that I can't stop drinking, but it's bad that you're watching something.
But wait, how are you? How are things?
It's okay.
To your comfort.
I have had this thought for a little while, and I'm not sure. I think I do want to say it.
Okay.
You can probably guess what it is, because it's kind of the big thing happening right now in my life, and it feels odd to not say it. I'm trying to ride this line between, like, I care about this show, I care about being transparent with people to a degree, and this is related to a topic I've been pretty clandestine about, but at the same time, it just...
But also counterpoint, you can operate at your own timeline. You don't owe anybody anything, etc.
I think I'm now at a point, and who knows, maybe I'll reach out later and I'm like, I want to cut this out or whatever, which I have done in the past about this topic, but I think it's I don't want to feel exploitative, like I'm using it for content, but at the same time, I don't want to kind of have it hanging in the air and being odd.
Yeah.
One of the reasons we missed a recent episode was kind of a
double.
We were both not available, and then the reason one of the episodes was late is because I was also back, and then, there's a whole thing.
Yep.
But that was largely due to me being away a little more time than expected. I went back to the UK. Can I say it out loud? Like physically? Yeah, I think so. My mum passed away, which died. I think we all know the slang for that one, right? Which for people that know the path, she's been sick for a long time now, and I was caring for her for 2 years there at some point. It's I did my grieving over time, so I'm there now.
Yeah, it's no one. It's like one of those things where there's no right way to grieve, and it happens with loss. It happens with relationships. It's like sometimes you are mentally preparing and processing.
Well, it's like 3 years, just under 3 years of like the way I was reacting even in the middle of it all was so much higher than
I know. I remember. Yeah.
The morning I like all of it was me, two of the carers that were like closest and my aunt, we just got McDonald's and like hung out. Yeah. And it was genuine, just told stories, and it was genuinely nice. Yeah. But I kind of wanted to bring it up because it feels like conquering it a little bit, to treat it as a very natural thing. Out of town again soon for funeral stuff, and then no more flying for a while. I hope that's the plan. But I'm fine. Nobody need to worry about it. Not fronting, genuinely been pretty fine. Lots of people around me that are very supportive in that way. And lots of people that I think are more worried about me than they need to. Like people like, I'm coming now. I'm on my way.
I mean, like even for me, when I was updating the Patreon, because we were just like, obviously things are going on, but I wanted to give a little bit of a heads up that at least on my end, I was like, oh, I'm still recovering from surgery, so things are a little later. And immediately after I posted, I edited it to be like, I'm fine, it went well, I'm like, nobody be concerned. But I totally know, obviously the instinct comes from a good place, but I think we are we don't want to use it can be emotionally taxing for other people to ask for their well wishes and sympathy and stuff like that. And I think that we are a little self-sufficient, maybe to a fault, where we're like, it's fine, I'm fine.
I think health, and also, I mean, in this case, dementia and the like, is just, it's like they're things that happen very gradually, or things that you reconcile with for long periods of time, with the exception of like getting hit by a car. Like you are dealing with going to physiotherapy or something like that for long periods of time, or frequent doctor visits to be like, so when is the surgery? What is the surgery? Oh, one of them told me my brain matter is dissolving, and then you went back and they're just like, cap, no way. And then there's like, you know, us going in my case, going in for x-rays and things, and then being like, it's the worst thing, and then leaving, and they're like, oh, sorry, I read it upside down, my bad. Dude. I drew all over it by accident. My kid got crayons on it. Now it is like totally, I think I'm as resolved with it as it gets. I think maybe comparatively there's some scabs that are going to come out of my nose a little bit, but it is.
I will say, and this is like maybe for you a little bit, and for the audience a little bit too, just like, and for me even, when, you know, it's like my mom passed when I was 11, and it was due to complications from a stroke. So she had a stroke when I was not home. I was visiting my birth mother, who I was just developing a relationship with at all. You know, it's like we have a relationship now, but she didn't raise me, so it's like one of those situations. And so I like harbored a lot of guilt that I wasn't there, and that like I wasn't, you know, if I was there, could we have acted faster and things like that. And even though it happened, you know, 20 years ago now, I still have like flashes back to it. And I still, you know, have moments of processing that like things begin to contextualize over time, and it's all valid. And I think in my mind, you're never technically, just like you're never technically figured out life in the world, you're never technically finished grieving. It's like my fucking
hamstring is never not gonna hurt a little in the morning.
Hamstring's never not gonna hurt. It's like I am the most processed as one could possibly be, calcified, you know, over 2 decades now, and I still every now and again have weird dreams, or have like you know, like flashes. And
it's never the like things that would be highlighted in a movie or something that's like actually as distinct, right? Like I keep getting these flashes when I put my socks on, because I would help my mom with her socks, and that's so little. But no, I don't do, weirdly, when I go in a hospital for appointments and stuff, didn't even think of it. We used to do that multiple times a week, and it's like, whatever, it's a hospital. But something that doesn't sync, like health issue mixed with like what cereal I would get, or like what type of toast I would make. You know, that is weirdly the thing I think about like most days.
And I don't think you would take it this way, but I really don't want to make this about myself. But this is a funny callback, and I think it's relevant. Me slipping on the stairs, I need to just wear my slippers that are over there, but the first thing I thought of when I slipped on the stairs was the hospital grippy socks.
Oh yeah.
That my mom had worn at multiple points. And it's like it's like I cannot have those socks in my home. I don't want to look at them. I don't want to see them.
Which is like then every now and then the bad thing that they were for happens, and you're like, now
and I'm like, okay, reason. Well, I just really need to wear my slippers. Maybe I need, you know, like maybe I need a foam roller in every room, and I need it on every floor, because like now I have like a narrow, tall place where there's like multiple floors, and
I'm like, maybe I also need some slippers on every floor so that I can not be taking the steps like with socks on, or I just need to take my socks off when I go up the steps, whatever. But or just be very careful.
But yeah, the people watching, I mean, partially I think we talk about this because when we talk about medication, for example, often the feedback we get is like, wow, that normalized it. Cool. Thanks for that. Or I appreciate that about what you talk about on the show. And we appreciate getting those messages. We haven't done that much talk about grief in the same way. Mm-hmm. So hopefully this kind of normalizes a degree of like, if you feel very desensitized to it, perfectly normal. If you feel very sensitive to it in waves, very normal. If there's certain weird over-specific triggers that remind you of moments of grief and pain, that's, I think, undervalued. I think that's like I hear about that so much less. Like I've had family members die before and stuff like that, but I think what was weird about this is I was like, I don't really like this idea, but it just is. When you're a full-time carer, mm-hmm. you're kind of a parent to mm-hmm. some degree, and then once I came back here, I was at the guilt of like, oh, I should be there. What if a thing happens now? You know, that kind of stuff. And then when the death comes, you're almost just like, oh, God, for that little parent part of me is like, oh, my fucking kid. Like that's a crazy thought. But then as soon as that moment is done, all of a sudden you get to, I don't know, if you can, not that you should, but if you can, I think it's kind of what you're describing. There's like it's very perfectly healthy to accept that it scars and doesn't like mm-hmm. heal completely. Mm-hmm. Or better yet, it like doesn't even scar, it scabs and you can brush up against a wall and it's open, it's as wounded as it was.
I'll be honest, like, again, not to make it about myself, but I think there's value in sharing.
No, I find this helpful.
It's also sharing my experience as an onlooker, as almost a, for someone in the audience who's not personally going through this, but may have had experience in the past or something like that.
It's also a good contrast because mine was extended as mm-hmm. an adult and yours was instantaneous as a kid.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I think that there's like something that I wasn't expecting emotionally, like being close to you while you're going through it, that like sort of like put me in a place that I hadn't been in a long time, which is like an interesting, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, there's scars. Oh, there's scars.
Yeah.
It's like I haven't been to this emotional place. It's like it's almost like I have like an emotional map to my mind, like to like go to different places. Oh, I've been sad in this way before. I've gone through this breakup. I've like had this opportunity fall through, but it's like I hadn't had a map emotionally to like that place in a very long time.
Let's say that moment in
with
like
someone that was close to me. Yeah.
In like a Dark Souls or an Elden Ring or something where you're like, you've been exploring for a while. You haven't been back to an area and then you open a door and I'm like, whoa, I'm back to the fucking, I didn't even realize I'd taken this route.
Right.
I've gone south straight back to this bonfire.
I didn't know that there was a way to get back here. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's almost like using a time machine. Like
it's the same. Nothing changed here.
I can't physically go back to my childhood home because it doesn't exist in the same way that it did back there, but I can travel those memories and like there's different entry points to get back to those places. And like one for me is like I've looked on Google Street View of my old like childhood home and it's like it doesn't look the same, but I can kind of see some of the that tree got cut down, okay, that's where this was, and you can kind of generalize a lay of the land, and that's an entry point to I remember this experience and that experience mm-hmm. and where I was when this happened, and this is like the emotional version of that.
I've been back to my childhood, or like what we moved a lot, but sort of like the place we spent the longest, 6 years or so. I haven't been back there for, I mean, we haven't had it for a long time, 15 years, something like that. Mm-hmm. And that place, I walked past when I was back in Gloucester, because it was in Stroud, and I just whipped around, had a look around. And you know that motif everybody expresses of like your childhood home looks small, like you go inside, like all the stuff's small.
The scale, yeah.
But it wasn't my childhood. most of the time I was there, I was at least over 6 foot. It seemed small. Granted, I didn't go inside. It was from outside, but it seemed small in a like value way. Like I was by it, and I'm like, this seems so much smaller because at one point in time, this was it. It's like your parents stronger than you or something. Like it doesn't even matter whether they're taller than you. It's just like you have a friend that's like got dense muscle.
Yeah.
And then you go back and you're like, oh, I'm bigger than this. I can beat up this.
These
house
muscles
now.
have atrophied.
What the hell happened? I lived in 10 more houses, and now I can come back and be like, oh, this is just a place made of brick.
And I think one thing that's cool about this show is that we can talk about this and in the same breath talk about AI girlfriends, which is still going to happen. And I think that is like, there's value in being able to, like, not everything emotional has to completely engulf the moment or your life. You know what I mean? Like you can,
especially something as natural as, I mean, you cannot avoid death. That is
true.
Well, until my machine is complete.
Until I crash that plane because I'm afraid to interview at Microsoft.
Because I shit all down the aisle. I can't go to Barcelona.
Yeah.
No, another thing I want to say that you can close on if we want, but because I want to say it a lot, and it's a very much a thing that'll make me cry. So I'm doing very, very quick. Not crying. I'm actually an alpha. I'm actually goated.
Big and strong. Yeah.
The show's called Tough Boys. No cry.
It's called Tough Testosterone, guys.
It's called Toxic Masculinity. How about Swag Masculinity?
Yeah.
It's a long title. This
More like Brolic Masculinity.
More like Broly.
Legendary Super Boys.
That's actually kind of cool. If we ever do like a Dragon Ball watch through, we should call Legendary Super Boys. Sad Boys Kai. That's good again.
The abridged version.
It scaled different times for different reasons, but the reason I was able to find my mum when the initial stroke happened and have the like tools to take care of her and the tools to support her and financially, but also logistically, and still be employed and all of that is completely because of you. Fuck, I'm gonna cry. No, I just said I was goated and talk strong. You saved our lives. Literally. Hers literally. I mean, you know, both of us to some extent, mine as well to a big extent, but literally. And that is, I will never be able to thank you enough for that. And she expressed the same. She loved you so much.
Hey, I'm crying too, so.
And that is, I love you so much as well. And I will never forget that.
Yeah, I mean,
and it is, and neither did she. I mean, actually, one weird thing, I don't know how weird it is. It's different in every case, but she never forgot people. Mm-hmm. That was like long-term memory was an issue. It was maybe short-term stuff, and even even when communication got bad. And one thing we would do a lot is like I would say X and Y says hello, and I had like a little video of Brigand and their baby and stuff. I'd be like, hey, look, here's what's going on. And like Nate and Rochelle, because she stayed with them for a while while she was over here, and little pieces. And then I'd be like, and Jarvis says hi. And the thing she would always say about if it was like Jarvis sends his love as well, she'd be like, oh, give Jarvis my love too. And then she would say either how's like Patreon, like she would reference this work together, or she'd go like, how's the podcast?
Oh,
and she thought it was really cute. Yeah, because she used to listen to the, she was
right.
And I think it's just like a funny, or like are you still doing it and stuff like that. I thought that was always such a funny. I think I don't even know if it's on mic, but I said a second ago, Sad Boys is like a thing we've been co-parenting.
Right. Yeah, no, yeah.
The best part of a decade.
That's so funny.
It's just being like, it literally sounded like she was asking after our like stepson or something. Mm-hmm. Like, so you winning, son?
Yeah.
He's sport. But yeah.
He's
thank you, dude. Seriously.
Thank you. I mean, hey, always here for you, brother.
Thanks, man. What's with this robot chick you can date?
Well, real quick, speaking of Brigid, Brigid's husband, James, big poker player.
Yeah, dude.
And I didn't know this until Brigid and I went to a Jonas Brothers concert.
No, dude, our friendship level has been gradually developing. You know, there's parent people, just like in their bones.
Yeah.
To imagine a day where Brigid didn't have a kid is like...
Yeah, I know. It's like Brigid's always been a dad.
Brigid in a second ever video version of Sad Boys?
Yeah. It was like there was Charlie Marie episode and Brigid episode, and I don't know which came before.
Oh, both at VidCon, yeah.
Both at VidCon, both on the same bed.
Yeah, you can check out at Briggon, Briggon, because if you watch that original video of us and then go over to his Instagram, you will get to witness the 30 pounds of muscle that he has put on in between. It literally looks like when Kumail got jacked.
Yo, yeah.
Like,
that's so funny.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, shout out to just friends.
Shout out to friends, especially for kind of exactly what we've been talking about.
Okay, wait. So before we jump into the AI thing, the most wholesome video I've ever seen, I have to show you. Have you seen the white guy trying Indian food for the first time?
No.
Okay.
When I saw that on the board, to know that it's wholesome is nice. Seeing the title, I was like, ooh.
It is. I 100% agree.
It's a car food review guy.
It is. It tickled me in such a beautiful way.
Do we find out his name? Because I want to guess.
His name might be in a TikTok app, but I actually don't know it.
I will take a swing at. He's kind of a younger guy. Otherwise, I'd say like Simon, but he's too young for Simon.
We'll double check though that this is the original upload on the TikTok app, and then we can like shout him out.
For some reason, I keep thinking of Aaron, and I don't think it is. Aaron is. I don't think you wear a tie.
I want to say like a Randy.
Yeah, Randy. Or well, I tell you what. What's his accent? Is he like Southern or something?
It's like, it's not Southern. I want to say it's like Midwest. Yeah.
Katie. She's one of the only Midwest people. Like, well, that's not true. We know a lot of Midwest people, but she's the only Midwest accent I know.
I know this is gonna be so great.
Luke.
Okay, cool.
Luke Foods.
Luke Foods.
Shout out. What was I thinking? Aaron? That's a Luke till the day he was born. A biblical name.
This incredibly sincere white guy trying Indian food for the first time and having his mind blown is so wholesome.
Today we're trying Indian food. We got the buttered chicken, the garlic naan, the onion bhajia, the gulab jamun. I think I got that right. And this came with some sauce and a whole basin of rice.
His enthusiasm is addicting.
Basin.
In a whole basin of rice.
Base. That was like a DJ Khaled tag.
We got the butter chicken. We got the garlic naan.
This is actually exactly like those DJ Khaled videos where he's like, and this?
Yeah.
And what is this?
Yeah.
A basin. I'm dressed like an Oreo.
Basin.
In Bowling Green, Kentucky. For a grand total of $35. Let's start with this onion bhajia. This is great. It tastes like an onion ring, but there's no onion inside. It just has onion flavoring, so it's kind of like a fry. I like it. I give this an 8. Now let's try a piece of this garlic naan. It's paper thin. That seasoning is out of this world. It has a nice garlic parmesan taste, and that is cooked to perfection. I'm not even joking. It's thin bread, but it has so much flavor to it. In fact, this might be the best bread I've ever had in my life.
Whoa, wow.
9.5. Now let's try this.
Does slap so
It
hard.
slaps so hard. He is not wrong at all.
I can make a look. I could be calling a Babe Ruth and everybody agrees with me.
Yeah.
Or I could be way off base. I don't know.
Way off base.
I think Indian food, pound for pound, is the best takeout.
I think you're onto something.
I think I might be right. Ooh, and buffet food.
Oh,
incredible buffet.
Incredible buffet food. Because I think that Indian food has solved the packaging problems that plague a lot of takeout. Like the naan and the aluminum foil it comes out and you're like, yes, please. You put this in a tiny oven for me.
The basin of rice.
The basin of rice. And it's got a little condensation so the rice doesn't get too dry.
Portions to expense, a good ratio.
Yeah, it is. I always too many portion, but that's okay.
It's also very reheatable.
Reheat's
It's
great.
so reheatable. Every aspect of it is reheatable.
There was a place around the corner when I was growing up. Went down there a few trips ago. Nostalgia, got a pickup, had way too much naan. Still wasn't able to finish all the naan despite my dastardly.
Never have enough naan. I never have enough naan personally.
Simply can't happen.
I never want to stop eating it because it's always cooked to perfection is correct. I don't know how they do it.
Well, I don't know if this is sacrilegious, but the recommendation from the soothsayer, the work that the wise genius.
Is this our good friend Nikhil?
It's from one of the kind of family friends that works, I believe owns it. He was like, you're going to have too much naan. What you should do is, because it doesn't reheat as well as everything else, what you should do is tear it up into smaller pieces, maybe 2-inch pieces, salt it very lightly, tiny bit of butter oil in the pan, fry it a little. Take that then with rice if you want, but like that's where like the little chunks of like if you have like leftover tandoori or something, pop it on there, a little chutney, incredible.
Whoa.
Incredible for breakfast. Yeah.
Whoa.
Incredible for breakfast.
I went to India for a wedding in 2016, and it was with a friend of ours who then was like, you should interview at Patreon, the company I just joined. And that was, where history was made. And I was very easily swayed to do so because we didn't stop eating and drinking the entire time. I don't know what it is with, this is maybe going to border on some sort of racism. But
13% of the population commits 50% of the
but every man in the groom's family was obsessed with Johnny Walker Black Label.
Respect.
And so if there are any Indian like listeners from India, can you explain this to me? Everyone is obsessed with Johnny Walker Black Label, and we were drinking that shit the entire fucking I want to say it's called the Bharat. It's like the bachelor party, but it like lasts for days.
Like a stag do.
Yeah, we were doing nothing but eating the best food I've ever had in my life and drinking Johnny Walker Black Label till the freaking cows came home. It was crazy.
God, that sounds good.
Yeah. Bharat is the groom's procession at the wedding ceremony. But anyway, shout out.
Dude. Well, one last thing I'll just say, because you just reminded me. I'm stealing a story, but Katie told me a story a couple of days ago of a friend of hers that works in a coffee shop back in Michigan. And do I want to say where she's from? She probably said it. A friend of hers that works at a coffee shop has this anecdote from a customer that used to come in a few years ago, and they were very clearly Scandinavian. It's a very clearly a European-esque accent, super tall heads, all the signifiers, blonde as the day is young, but they clearly were trying to appear American, and so they were doing kind of an almost like a Tommy Wiseau accent is the way they described it, and he would like go in and just be like. Yeah, what is going on? I am loving to be watching Netflix and watching it and chill. You know about that? That kind of stuff.
Right.
And they made me laugh out loud. They were like, would you like to pay cash or card? And he goes, I'd like to pay cash, like Johnny Cash. The guy.
That's like you can't let people know you're not American, so you're way overcompensating. Okay.
Chicken for the very first time. Now they didn't give me a fork or nothing, so thankfully I had a fork in my car. But yeah,
I guess me a fork or nothing.
That's a professional.
He's a professional.
Move, yeah.
Look at his try. Oh, I'm fucking it up. But wait, I'm gonna back this up first. But he's a professional. He came dressed in business casual
Yeah, maybe he's not coming from work.
to India's oven in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Also, dude, line out the door for India's oven in Bowling Green, Kentucky after this shit goes viral.
and
You couldn't have asked
deserved.
for a better, and deserved, yes. You could have asked for a better advertisement.
Even for people who have never had Indian food.
Right. Like, because the people who know already know, right? This guy's reaching, he's reaching an audience of people who are like, maybe this is the first day I try Indian food.
Is the bread flat?
Yeah. And it's packed full of flavor. Well,
With was it Parmesan?
I do-
He called it with
I do-
Parmesan garlic.
I
Yeah.
do like the idea for like non-adventurous eaters because I've like known many of them in my years. If you have someone who like is from a similar background to you going out and trying these things and going, you gotta try
Yeah.
this. I'm sure people are like, well, maybe that's broken down my walls a little bit, which is cool, which is just cool for like cultural appreciation and exchange.
You
I
just
think.
you also just can't like you can't be a human being and see the delicious thick gravy of that food and be like, not for me, not my style.
I need to like mark my calendar and say you can eat as much Indian food as you want on, I don't know, Saturday or something. Because I right now want to fly to Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Oh, dude, maybe we should.
Yeah, we do. That would be such a funny waste of resources, but like,
Tell you what, Vegas has some pretty baller Indian food.
true. I guess yeah. So I'm gonna go to TwitchCon and see what's up.
Should I go to TwitchCon? Eat driving, fine.
No, I'm flying, but the flights are not expensive. I got a Spirit Airlines flight.
Holy crap! This might be the best thing I've ever tasted in my life.
Whoa.
Okay, let me chill out. This chicken is like, it's like liquid. It just melts in your mouth, okay? And as for the butter taste, it does taste a little oily. But what I'm really getting is a cinnamon taste for some reason. And this is absolutely delicious. You get
Yeah,
these
absolutely.
giant chunks of chicken in here. You get a lot of it. This thing was $15, I know, but look how much preparation and work went into this thing. And it's a big portion. It would take me forever to eat all this and this broth and everything. This is divine. It is not the best thing I've ever had in my life, but it is truly divine. One of the best things I've had in my life. I give this a 9.9. I am absolutely blown away. I'm gonna be getting this a lot more. We're gonna break off a piece of this.
When he
garlic
says
and-
like, there's such a sincerity in his voice. Absolutely, like I
It's
like.
a 9.9. I'm
He's-
gonna be getting it a lot more.
I believe every word out of his mouth. Like if you were to tell me that he's a paid actor and he's like, actually I'm, you know, it's like I'm not from here, but I do travel every now and then to Bowling Green.
I remember
But Oscar immediately.
I came over to the US to do a US adaptation of Bridgerton, and while I was here, I just missed my Indian food. You know what it's like back there.
I just love doing the love doing character work. So I found a kid. His name was Luke. I killed him, stole his skin.
What do you think acting is?
It's when you assume someone's
Jesus
identity, right?
Christ. How do you think they make movies? Do you think Thanos is a guy?
He was a guy until I killed him and stole his skin.
You played Thanos?
I snapped him out of existence.
Yeah. Snapped his throat.
All right, this is actually a moment. This is a moment right here.
naan and dip it in the buttered chicken. Let's see how good this is. My taste buds have been violated. That should be I'm tweaking.
I'm tweaking.
Okay, let's wrap this up with the gulab jamun. Okay, nice.
It's just a lot of people talk about when he like finally puts the naan in the butter chicken. It is a religious experience, and that's true. It like
I wish I could forget Indian food and try it like he was.
in Indian food,
someone else's go.
I think it's rare. He like brings something to mind, which is that like I do often think, how is this so good when I'm eating Indian food? And I don't think that when I'm eating a lot of different food. There's a lot of food that I'm like, I get my fill, but I don't know. There's no bottom when it comes to naan and buttered chicken for me. And yes, you should, if you have already experienced naan butter chicken, there's, so much depth So much variety to Indian cuisine from the north, from the south. Like truly try it all.
I mean, the richness and wisdom of spice and flavor, granted, like came with us doing fucking horrendous shit, but built a naval industry between Britain and India.
Yeah.
Like we literally made a navy because our food tasted like shit.
All right, but I just saw this and I wish it weren't for me so hard to find like genuinely wholesome things that are just videos of animals.
Yeah. I want something that can talk, and I like it.
Yeah.
Which this and like is it a GR Smash? Yeah, like that channel when he just talks about Smash history. That's the two.
Well, I guess also the Baba's guy.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Wow. Jacob, can we jump back to the deck?
Goku really popped off in this way.
That actually does bring me a lot of joy. Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
I gotta go find that guy.
Extremely goated behavior from Trunks here.
Wait, we watched that,
in Canada.
In Canada, and I don't think I've watched that channel since. And I've watched like a bunch of other channels. Let's skip Trumper's Freedom Song. It would be a crime to follow up something so happy with something so cringe.
Yeah, can we keep that for next week though? I'm very curious.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna cut Jarvis's favorite things too. I was just gonna talk about Vsauce's Curiosity Box, which I get every quarter now, and there's something in this that I'll just show you in the bonus.
Oh, great.
Young men are struggling. I genuinely want to acknowledge the fact that the manosphere existing is a response to there being young men who feel aggrieved, they feel lost, they don't have the answers. Snake oil salesman shows up, says, "Hey, I've got some snake oil, and it'll solve the problems that women cause." By the way, women are the evil people, right?
Oh, what a lifesaver. Now I know exactly what to dislike.
Exactly. And that makes me feel better because I have somewhere to place the blame.
Yeah. As opposed to this weird existential feeling that the world doesn't care about me.
Exactly. And so those people, I do not think those people are bad people, especially the people who are young and still forming their opinions about the world.
It's the snake oil salesmen that are bad people.
Yeah, exactly. And also not even young men, but like dating is a nightmare. Even for someone like me who is like according to Andrew Tate, like the type of guy that, other than the fact that I'm a soy cuck, the type of guy that should be succeeding in life or whatever. I hate dating apps. You know what I mean? They make me feel so bad about myself. And I have to imagine that other people share that as well. It's like, I feel like I have so much to offer the world. I feel like my existence is being reduced to a few characteristics and a few photos. I am self-conscious that I'm being judged about all these things based on my appearance. I don't know that I'm the most like at a glance, ooga attractive guy. I don't think I'm an unattractive person by any means, but
it's something you're forced to reconcile with.
It's something I'm forced to reconcile with.
Advertise yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you are about any of those topics, very genuinely insecure about it, then you might not even dip in the pool. You might feel too anxious or concerned or self-conscious to even make an account or even go to a bar or even start conversation.
Right.
And those are all very valid feelings that are taken advantage of by people that financially benefit from you feeling bad.
And there are some solutions here, because I'm in the interest of offering solutions.
No black pills here.
Yes. And one solution is to go out and about and do stuff, get some hobbies, go to some cooking classes, go on Meetup, just go meet people, go to parties, whatever.
Make yourself somebody you want to advertise.
It's got to be, it's a little bit of a grind. It's like an RPG. You got to like level up your social stats, Mm-hmm. You're what is it in D&D? It's not charm. It's
Oh, your Riz, your
Riz,
your charisma.
Charisma. Yeah. You've gotta like level your charisma. You know what I mean? You gotta grind that like it's a gosh darn video game.
You gotta hit at least 14 base charisma, so you got a +2 to Riz base rolls.
Or
I date, and I said that.
or fuck that. Opt out of the dating market entirely and get yourself a brand new AI girlfriend.
Problem solved.
Okay, so CNN ran a story recently about, and it was an op-ed story, and I'm like, can CNN just turn off? And they can't because they just need to be money. It needs to be money 24/7. So this is the 24-hour news cycles problem, but artificial love, op-ed, AI girlfriends ruining an entire generation of men.
Dude, CNN rocks because just now and then they will just like their journalistic pride evaporates because the topic that they were focusing on is like cycled out, and they'll just be like, Donald Trump sets 100 babies on fire. And you're like, oh Jesus, thanks for reporting on that. And they'll just go like, I don't know, is green red? No, it was green.
So,
oh look, it's a dog. That's pretty cool.
So there's a CNN video, and it's about this startup that's created AI girlfriends, and then Kwebbelkop also created AI girlfriends. Jacob, can you pull up the Kwebbelkop's Twitter, because Kwebbelkop tweeted, "Working on AI girlfriends. Oh, yeah. They'll be safe for work only though." So like,
it's not weird.
Yeah. So like, you can't like. So first of all, you already couldn't touch them, but second of all, no sex stuff.
Kwebbelkop's his relationship.
Did he delete all his tweets?
Oh,
that went back to 2020. What the heck?
Did he pull?
Is there another Kwebbelkop Twitter?
Is there an AI one literally made by AI?
That's bizarre. So anyway, Kwebbelkop tweeted an AI girlfriend. Didn't Katie retweet it? Katie retweeted it because it was like the boobs were like breathing like her lungs.
Oh, like, wait, no, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That was because I wasn't signed in.
That was bizarre.
That's bizarre. That's odd.
Why does signing in mean
that shouldn't do anything?
Twitter's got some poorly thought out features lately. What the hell? Excuse. Hold on. Was that a clown? Why was there a clown? Movie. I don't think that's true, Kwebbelkop.
Yeah.
Yep. Is that Kramer?
AI horror is going to be great.
That's Kramer. The Joker goes to a comedy club, says the N-word.
Oh my god. Okay, wait.
What the fuck is this account?
I know.
Dude?
Can you actually just go to Katie's Twitter, Skady420, or is it 421?
It's Skady420.
Because I remember there was that time on Instagram where she made Skady421.
Ooh, not following that can't feel good. Oof. No, don't worry about it. It's worse than nothing, dude.
Oh yeah, there it is. Katie, scroll down, right there. Here, just click on it. You're gonna have to. Oh yeah. Here's high quality AI girlfriend test. It won't be long until this is possible in VR. AI girlfriends will be huge in 12 to 24 months.
Currently very small.
Yeah, they're
fits in
super
a phone.
Small. We're gonna turn them into giant. It's gonna be like a kaiju movie. AI girlfriends are terrorizing Tokyo.
Uber Eats.
I don't know what I want to eat for dinner.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to get something to eat? Oh, anything's good with me.
Good.
How about Thai food?
No, not that.
Oh, geez. Why didn't you pick something?
Oh, no, the humanity. Why don't you pick something? Why don't we break up?
I had a dream where you were mean to me.
I don't like how you talk to that girl.
I was just being nice to the server. Well, you don't do that.
Okay, so that's Kwebbelkop's AI girlfriends, but there's a company called like Cupid.ai, and they'll be talked about in the CNN video. Let's watch it.
What if the biggest AI threat of all is to human relationships? The movie Her seemed like absurd science fiction a decade ago. A lonely, heartbroken man played by Joaquin Phoenix finds solace in an artificial intelligence female voice that he talks to through his phone and earbuds.
Okay, so they just recap
Just going to recap
Her
the
real
movie.
quick.
played by Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, he's just like, AI girlfriends are here, and it's a movie of the movie. It's a review of the movie Her.
That sci-fi concept fast becoming a troubling reality. As an example, here's one of countless chatbot apps providing AI friends. It's called Cupid AI with a K for Cupid. It offers several avatars with distinct physical features and a list of personality traits for you to start interacting with and customizing. For instance, here's the opening message from an avatar named Alice, described as a curious and open-minded photographer.
For instance,
what do they have a job?
For instance, here's a conversation that I'm having with my AI girlfriend, Rebecca.
Do not talk to her. I wanted to come on here and tell you that she's mine.
Yeah. And do not touch her, even if I can't.
She's going to be huge in 12 to 24 months. My tiny girlfriend.
Yeah. And so I've got to eat up so that I too can grow.
I'm Alice, a 25 years old, fun-loving and adventurous girl, seeking a partner in crime to travel the world with and make unforgettable memories.
Yeah, see, this isn't in Her because it would suck. Because to have, if Scarlett Johansson had like a physical form in that movie and it came out and their mouth moved like it was being manipulated with string.
It's like Annoying Orange or whatever. Where it's like someone else's lips are just moving.
It looks like when somebody records their face upside down and puts eyes on like the chin or whatever. That's like,
oh yeah.
If you are new here, let me explain a few things. You can chat with me as much as you want.
If you're new here, are we at the park?
New to Earth?
Yeah, if you're new to the world of an AI girlfriend.
If you're new to this, the singularity.
Maybe this is like a dom kink. Like she's like, if you're new here, sit down and shut up, and I'll tell you what's what.
Look at my photos.
Yeah.
And I'd be more than happy to learn more about you and please you in any way I can.
Well,
you can't be happy is a thing.
Yeah, and also you actually can't do it in any, like, the ways you can is one. It's this. It's looking scary.
If you want me to send you a photo, you just have to ask it in the chat, like, hey Alice, can you send me a picture of you? And I'll be more than happy to send you one.
It's like when you do Alexa setup.
Yeah, it also her head movements are working against her tone. It feels like she's like sinister. I'll be more than happy to send you one.
Dun, dun.
And then the photo is her standing next to like the Empire State Building. And it's like best friends.
Yeah. It's her actually picking up the Tower of Pisa with her fingers.
Yeah, exactly. She's pushing it back into place.
But of course, to bump up from texting to more voice chat, as well as receiving sexy and, well, other sorts of pictures, Alice asked...
Sexy and other sorts?
You just mean like landscapes?
Yeah. Sexy and other sorts of pictures. Like the Empire State Building is a pay to play.
And tourist photos, I guess, for some
Whoa! Oh, wait, I can't do that because of my nose. I like started doing it. Okay, no.
Your nose flies off.
Can't... Hurry up and join to enjoy unlimited text messages, receive sexy and nude pictures. That's crazy.
That's not safe for work. It's funny that they blurred this image that's not nude.
Yeah.
Ask that we become a premium member for $9.99 a month, so we bid her farewell. But there are many who are in...
What?
Wait a second. You are on CNN right now.
It was out of budget.
Delivering your op-ed to CNN's millions of viewers. And she asked you for $9.99 to keep chatting, and you said, never mind.
You could buy that for less than
you were the worst journalist ever.
Yeah, imagine if you're doing reporting on like Syria, and they're like, oh, the flight's $200. All right, well, as far as I can tell, it seems like things aren't going great.
You know how articles have like paywalls, and then a lot of people don't pay. I feel like he did that. Like we Uno reversed the journalist.
I mean, surely. I guess. Yeah, okay, here's my guess. He did this completely independently. This is him trying to get it expense reported.
How did he get on CNN? Because it's like op-ed. I didn't know that they could just be like, here's a guy who's got some stuff to say.
Yo, what's up? Do you see? Look at my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I can't find her. She's too expensive.
Engaging. The Hill recently published a piece by my next guest, data science professor Liberty Vittert, under the headline, AI girlfriends are ruining an entire generation of men.
Calm down.
Okay, hold on.
Liberty Vittert. Engaging. The Hill recently published a piece by my next guest, data science professor Liberty Vittert, under the headline, AI.
Liberty Vittert.
That's cool.
Is a fun name to say.
That's a cyberpunk name.
It sounds
right
like
there.
it also sounds like an Eminem lyric.
Yeah,
Liberty Vittert when I'm in her
Lyrical miracle with Liberty.
Lyrical Vittert with the Liberty Vittert.
Under the headline. That's a bit much.
That is,
relax.
dude, okay. Journalists do worse clickbait than YouTubers. I'm sorry.
Yeah, dude, they're pogging
maybe
right
that's a cold take, but sometimes it's absurd. And it's like, yeah.
Dude, I mean, honestly, if you, that top right thumbnail with his face in it, you made that text yellow and he was on a couch.
Yeah.
That's a commentary video right there.
Like, what?
Wait,
Okay.
1 in 3 men are not having sex?
AI girlfriends are ruining an entire generation of men. She wrote the following: apps have created virtual girlfriends that talk to you, love.
They say this like it's already sweeping the nation and everyone's doing it. And maybe I'm under a rock, but I don't think that's the case.
If it had already done that, I don't think it'd be on the news. I mean, we would know.
Because you know how we know it's weird is because once a year there's a profile on a guy who's dating a Nintendo DS.
And everyone's like, what the hell?
And everyone's like, what is this?
Okay, I mean, it's ruining an entire generation.
Yeah, okay. Maybe the generation hasn't become men yet.
Yeah, like that.
Maybe this is from the future.
What's that show on TNT where there's just a entire mini doc about that guy that married a roller coaster or whatever? And it's just like, yeah, men are marrying roller coasters across the globe.
Yeah, you take that My Strange Addiction of the guy who's dating his car.
Yeah.
And he's like, red Miatas are destroying an entire generation
And
of men.
then Liberty Statuesque or whatever their name is like the entire nation is being ruined by a Hyundai.
Apps have created virtual girlfriends that talk to you, love you, allow you to live out your erotic fantasies, and learn through data. Ooh, exactly what you like and what you don't like, creating the perfect relationship. How counterpoint? They're not. Hold on, hold your horses. We're recording it, Jordan. We're doing a video.
$11.99.
Okay, yeah. Dude,
Can I
toss it in the trash.
Can I put this on the company?
$9.99 for love?
What the hell? This is ruining a generation.
This is ruining my generation. Creating the perfect. I don't know. I haven't read this piece, but this quote is very easy to poke some holes in. Like, how is the perfect relationship one where you cannot physically interact with your partner?
I found a flaw.
I guess if you I understand that long distance relationships are a thing, but those are usually driving towards in-person relationships. I don't know of a pen pal long distance relationship where you can never meet.
It's a bold claim that it's perfect.
Yeah. I guess they put
the air quotes should be around relationship.
Yeah, all of it should be. They need to cake this in
apps
quotes.
Have created.
Yeah, apps have created virtual girlfriends.
Love you, allow you to live out your erotic fantasies, and learn through data exactly what you like and what you don't like, creating the perfect relationship. And that young lonely men, quote, are choosing AI girlfriends over real women, meaning they don't have relationships with real women, don't marry them, and then don't have and raise babies.
What the fucking how long has this study been
That's
going
what I'm saying.
on?
That statement can only be true if you've been, if AI girlfriends have been ruining a generation for a decade. Yeah, literally.
And every year they show the progress so far, and they look like they're a Muppet on moving really quick.
Yeah,
there's motion blur in their eyes for some reason.
They don't Also,
they're making the perfect girlfriend with 200 teeth and an extra finger.
And that's just and this is, we had the biggest leaps forward in AI over the past 2 years. So there has not been enough time for you to say something. Also, the premise that I don't think a single man watching this is going to go, yeah, I have so many options. There are so many women clawing at my door, regular sized, by the way, that want to date me, but I'd rather stay home and talk to Martha, my AI assistant.
My AI dental hygienist.
Yeah.
For some reason, they have a job
Who
specific.
never leaves the park.
Perfect.
She's always in the park.
Send me a photo of the park.
Yeah. And so like how can you say this? Okay, well, maybe they'll show up.
This would actually honestly make sense if Liberty Vidit was dating one of these and they broke up with them to date an AI, like one of these guys. And they're like, yeah, men, they cheat on you with a robot, right? All of us.
Also, this is see, the thing is, both this guy, well, no, hold on. I don't know who this guy is, but this is just an opinion piece person. And I feel like you don't have to have any sort of like accreditation or any sort of clout or like they just let anybody write opinion.
I mean, they didn't even pay for the app.
Yeah.
They literally didn't use it.
That's wild.
With them, as I've discussed here before, we're living in an epidemic of loneliness among young men. Professor Scott Galloway told me that failing young men he perceives to be an existential crisis for the country. Why? Well, Pew found that 63...
It's like, okay, I agree that like failing young men and women, but not to, do the both sides thing, but like...
Ladies, gentlemen, everything in between.
Yeah, like, yes, exactly. And, but it's like, yes, we are failing young men. But I do not think that the reason that we're failing young men is because of AI girlfriends.
I just don't... 18 to 29 in a year, in like what? I mean, these apps are like younger than the podcast.
Yeah,
like
literally.
In what world? Especially if they are 18, but they're single because of the robot.
You know how I know they didn't talk to enough people? The margin of error is 7.1%. That is a gigantic percentage. That is a gigantic margin.
Margin of error, fucking, I don't know,
100?
Me and my friends.
Plus or minus every percent.
3% of young men under 30 are single, compared with only 34% of women the same age. 1 in 5 American men who are unmarried and not in a romantic relationship report not having any close friends. And according to Pew, there's a decline.
And that is solved how? By... Oh, no, they're saying that it's AI friends.
It's ruined by a computer.
Maybe, hypothetically.
This isn't going to make any sense, whatever you say.
Okay, I was just going to say that maybe we don't... Like, I don't know, the economy's not doing so good. Okay. People have to work to survive.
Right.
They don't have a lot of common spaces to meet people, that especially after they leave school.
Yeah, because they're talking to the AI.
Okay, but I just think
their friends are asking to hang out and they're talking to the AI. Ever heard of it?
Right. I just don't. I think that part of it, especially in America, like, like we don't really live in walkable cities. It's hard to like foster community when you got to like drive everywhere.
Because the AI makes you drive.
Like even when I moved to Los Angeles, I had to know people already. And when I was in San Francisco, all my friends were friends that I had from college. It was like, or friends that I made from work. Mm-hmm. But then also we just had a pandemic where no one was leaving their homes.
It's like you didn't read the article at all.
Okay.
I feel like I'm going crazy.
But I just think that if we just spend a few years indoors, especially during these formative years for building important relationships, it would stand to reason that there might be other causes of why these relationships aren't being formed, and they may not necessarily be AI girlfriends.
No, that's fair. You're wrong. It's what it is you've seen Her.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Sometimes you spin around with your phone at a dance or whatever. The fact that they played that clip, like, it is genuinely deranged, and I don't know how much of it comes from this epidemic of people almost willfully misinterpreting the capacity and function of AI because it's interesting to talk about, I guess.
Yeah.
And then how much comes from Wilford Brimley or whatever this guy's name is, legitimately believing that this is the case. I don't know about Libertine McDonald, the person that wrote this, but
Libertine Hunger Force.
Yeah. There's just, I'm sure a lot of people engaged with this more than, say, they would with a general CNN segment, including ourselves. What are the views are very powerful on this after 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. But as a journalist, as a reporter, I don't care how cynical you are, do you not have any pride? Do you not have any shame? Like, what are you... What do you could have found out what AI is today, and you would know that this doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's ruined a generation of men.
Yeah. Can I just say that 50% of single men are looking for dates or a relationship? I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about that number. That seems fine.
I mean, yeah.
Only 50% of people are looking to be in a relationship. Maybe they're busy.
Yeah, I think a very good bunch of those aren't looking to be in a relationship. That 50% have no interest in it. And then the other portion of the 50% probably just, casually, maybe it comes, maybe it doesn't, but I've got stuff I care more about.
Is the implication only 50% of people are looking for a relationship because the other 50% are dating their AI girlfriends?
and they're dating them so hard it's ruining the relationships of other people.
Okay.
Decline in the number of single men.
That's a ton of a generation. 50% of people
not having any close friends. And according to Pew, there's a decline.
I'm just sorry, the close friends thing bothers me because that's not even related to romantic relationships. No, it feels like you're ignoring the environmental context of this whole AI revolution.
It's literally like being like, the thing that's getting people in all these car crashes is that they're wearing casts all the time. They've got that cast on from the last car crash. Like, well, no, the problem existed. There's this weird Band-Aid that basically nobody is using because the actual issue is something way bigger. Yeah. But that's not an interesting story to post, or at least not an easy story to report and have general audiences be like, I remember Space Odyssey was scary. And sure,
these AI girlfriends, they exist. People are using them. People are paying for them. They're getting, some success. The business probably wouldn't exist if that weren't the case, but I don't think that it's prevalent enough to use it as a reason that a generation has failed the loneliness quiz.
I mean, to be fair, this is the same fear-mongering that happens every 10 years, where 10 years ago, it's the danger of dating apps. Nobody knows who anyone is. They're going to get murdered. 10 years before that, people are only DMing and talking on email and instant messenger. 10 years before that, it's people are playing D&D and doing Satanism.
Yeah, the dangers of being online. These chat rooms are ruining an entire generation of men.
I remember people saying, are you really going to order a book online? It's going to turn up full of fire. There's going to be a gun pointing out of the pages. What are you thinking?
It's going to shoot out a little flag that says bang.
You made a friend on RuneScape? They're going to kill you.
Yeah.
The DPS is
That's true.
In the number of single men actively seeking relationships or even casual dates, currently around 50%. Joining me now is Liberty Vittert, professor of data science.
This is neither here nor this is a stupid thing to be annoyed by. What is the framing of this? Why is it slightly above the center of the graphic? This infographic is busted.
I thought in my head, this is a video, I thought we had scrolled up. Because of how it's centered on the page. That's very funny.
The title is not centered. It's not even justified. It's just kind of, it's centered left.
What is happening?
What is this? To CNN. And then it's also just got this, it's not big enough or detailed enough, and the white space is so wide.
Their vector graphics and animation team is working 24/7 on the motion graphics machine, and I think that we've overworked them.
Someone's on Canva on their phone during the last sentence he was saying. He's emailing it to themselves.
Yeah, on the butter churn / motion graphics creator.
It's like one of those old cameras.
Okay, now Liberty Vittert is allegedly a data scientist, which is a big serious job and someone who I would trust with analyzing data.
Mm-hmm. What kind of range?
But I'm you have my attention.
Currently around 50%. Joining me now is Liberty Vittert, professor of data science at Washington University in St. Louis, and opinion contributor for the...
That's a very good school. Washington University in St. Louis, very good school, professor of data science there. So this sounds like a very serious person.
She's AI.
So I will hear.
She looks like AI.
I will hear her out when I hear. I want to hear her out.
Wait, what if you hear her out and she speaks like this?
Oh no! It's the orange.
So not to be prurient at this time of day, but are all the needs of these young men able to be facilitated, taken care of?
What a stupid fucking question.
And I hope the answer is not stupid, because the answer seems pretty clear to me.
I obviously, context clues. He's like, not to be crass is what he means by prurient, but I've never heard that word before. So let me just look it up.
Books over here. Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus, dude. Or is prurient like prudish? Like,
I mean, of course I know what it means. So just you search it and.
Oh wow!
What does it mean?
Prurient. Yeah, just for me because you already know it. Having or encouraging in excessive interest in sexual matters. So he literally said like not to be too much sexy time, and I'm okay.
Not to be horned up.
Like literally, he had that loaded in the chamber, dude. He was ready,
so to speak.
Yeah,
he was loaded up, ready to blow.
Oh, so to speak.
Please say no, Liberty. Please.
Are all the needs of these young men able to be facilitated, taken care of by AI avatars?
Well, you have to think about this word AI that is in.
Okay.
What Webster's dictionary defines
artificial
intelligence. Okay.
You have to think about this word prurient.
It's not a virtual girlfriend, it's an AI girlfriend. So it learns from you. It learns what you like.
Okay, weird distinction.
What's a virtual girlfriend?
Those things are not mutually exclusive. Your virtual girlfriend can be an AI girlfriend. Your AI girlfriend is a virtual girlfriend.
I mean, when you say virtual girlfriend, that you're talking about a picture. That's what that is. It's just a PNG.
I do believe virtual girlfriend is a fair thing to call an AI girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like and what you don't like, what kind of pictures you like, what kind of pictures you don't like. And while not all needs are met, that is the next step, is actual physical girlfriends.
Pause.
What?
Wait, you know what I love about being in a relationship? Is my girlfriend always knows what pictures I like and what pictures I don't like. Once that is met.
Do you think they're all in the like, they keep making it sound like it's all about sex, but do you think your AI girlfriend will text you like, here's a cute bird I found.
Yeah, and then you have to reply, I don't like this.
I don't like this. And she goes,
sucks.
oh, okay, here's my boobs.
Yeah, I like this photo.
This is better. I like this more.
I mean, it's weird that she's got even a slightly like reticent tone here. She should have gone like, yes, that was my article. I 1,000%. Also, it is a pandemic of loneliness, which is the cause of a lot of people not finding connection, friends and relationships and the like. But also, from like a logistical point of view, to point out like, hey, they're not getting married, not having kids, etc. Who cares? Who gives a shit? Is that like so they are miserable? That ego doesn't make any sense.
It's one of those things where like I think people get doomer about it because there are other countries where they have an aging population. And if people aren't reproducing over a long enough period of time, then it's like, oh no, we're not replacing the people that are dying.
Sure.
It's gonna go away. We're gonna go extinct.
but like famously, like Japan to some degree, though it is wavering, but Japan has exactly that issue, and there's legislature to try and change it. But like, what can the government do, right? They have to create incentives. But the reason for that is not AI girlfriends. It's the beginning part. It's the feeling of isolation, lack of prioritization, health, work dominating your life.
Those are the things. This would be like the whack-a-mole. It's literally, I guess it's like it's like you're going to the paper cut factory, and then after a long day at the paper cut factory, you're just putting a bunch of Band-Aids on your paper cuts instead of not going to the paper cut factory anymore.
I don't like it here.
Yeah. Why am I getting all these paper cuts?
Why
these
am I
ruining a generation?
I got to stop cutting lemons.
Yeah. So I don't.
Why do people work at the paper cut factory? It seems like a terrible idea.
I want to give Victorini,
Motor City Spaghetti,
Motor City Liberty,
Tony
Liberty
Soprano,
No, I don't want to. I feel like how much making fun of her name is okay. I don't know.
A lot.
But anyway, I
should have had a better name.
I want to give I definitely want to give her the benefit of the doubt because I think she like to get to her position. She's extremely bright, you know, and a very accomplished, you know, professor at a very big school doing a very hard job. But we need to talk about this a little bit. Feels like, okay, the next step is physical girlfriends. It's like, okay, so like, would you say like sex dolls are like ruining a generation of men? I guess people did say porn ruined a generation. Porn ruined a generation. People do say that, and there is
video, VHS and DVD porn ruined a generation, and before that, Playboy ruined a generation, and then since then, Pornhub ruined the generation, and then amateur porn and OnlyFans ruined the generation. Because that, and also it ruined for the sex workers. They've been tainted. The fear-mongering just comes from this like existential, intangible, kind of like the loneliness problem. Yeah. This intangible, like, boomers being scared all the time and like judging the quality
things
of the
aren't
world.
The way they were when my generation came up, and we should all be scared about it.
Must be the choice of the people that are suffering. That has to be same shit.
It's like we've got to get these Gen Z kids to buy houses. They're not buying houses anymore.
They're buying diamonds.
They're buying avocado toast and lattes, and they're not buying houses, which famost cost $9.
It can't be that I was lucky, because if the result, if my quality of life comes from luck, then that means I am still constantly at risk of losing everything. Yeah, it wasn't me being smart.
Be some type of pairing between what I've already shown to the CNN audience and something 3D that's going to be, you know, in your living room or bedroom?
Yes, I mean that is the world we are moving into, and as you said, it's enabling this entire generation of young men to continue in this loneliness.
That's such cap, dude.
What do you fucking?
That's not fair to men. That is not fair to lonely men.
It's not fair to
the problem is not AI girl. What are you talking about? To ignore the societal and systemic issues plaguing young men or lonely men, and just like there's a word that I want, issue.
Yeah, issue.
Sure. But anyway, and to push all of those problems onto the AI girlfriends, which adoption has to be in the low fractions of 1%.
Extremely.
Yeah. Like, it just cannot be that large. To speak so confidently, like, that's the problem, feels like you're being, like, knowingly obtuse.
Oh, yeah. And this will also be paired with maybe not CNN, but equivalent styles of news reporting that will emphasize, like, all these immigrants are having lottery babies. There's being too many babies born by the wrong people. Oh. They shouldn't be allowed to do that. Yeah. And the truth is, again, it's just people not feeling comfortable. And the reason they're not feeling comfortable is because the fucking world's imploding. Yeah, and they should be afraid. But having to distribute that feeling to the people that they like the least, which is people that are the least like them. Right. So there's just, it's why, I mean, it is the cause of, like, why even people that we have met or people that we will see online that are in other ways, I think, like, ethically pretty close to us or philosophically or politically will just be like, yeah, but OnlyFans is for gross freaks.
Right.
It's
or even
dangerous.
like to this day, if someone, like, I talk to someone about what I do and they give me the, like, you make a living doing that? And I'm like, yeah.
Is that okay?
Is that allowed?
Shit.
And it's like, you don't think that's gonna, like, it's like the premise of the question is invalidating of, like, my already lived experience that I've been doing for years now. Yeah.
You don't think people are going to stop watching entertainment at some point? What are you thinking?
You've got to go to the paper cut factory like me.
You know what this is like? This is the same. This feels like when news reporting from the Midwest reports on, like, LA crime statistics, or, like, but they don't use percent, they use population. And it's like, well, that's because there are people here. That's why there's like more murders and more, like, violence.
Right.
And it's always the same people that are like, well, yeah, I mean, LA, first of all, LA's expensive, but also the San Andreas Fault. At some point, this place is going to explode. And I'm just like, well, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Seriously? What?
Yeah.
Like, why do you need to find something more complicated than the government hates you and they're not helping you with stuff?
Or, I mean, like, I guess I'm going to hear out the entirety of this argument, but me personally, where I'm standing right now, so what if you have an AI girlfriend? That may be a Bandai.
Maybe Namco Bandai.
Maybe a Namco Bandai. So what if you have an AI girlfriend? That might just be a Band-Aid for the current moment, and it's okay to use Band-Aids. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure that like the people who are engaging with AI girlfriends don't think this is the end all be all of life. And if they do, who cares?
Shit.
Who cares? But anyway, I doubt that that's the majority of people. Humans naturally want to interact and socialize with other humans. It's like how we've succeeded as a society. So I don't think in good faith, the people who are engaging in like AI chat, like whatever buddies are going, finally, this is the life. This is it. It might just be a stopgap. You know what I mean? And like, let people live. Why are we trying to invalidate things that we couldn't possibly know the lasting effects of?
And they don't really seem to have a firm stance on which is cause and which is effect. Like, hey, chicken or egg? And I'm like, I would say egg, the egg of misery. Yeah. Actually, and then the chicken came out of it. And that's the whole reason.
And that's the chicken of misery.
And they keep saying shit like, hey, people are only having relationships online, which is causing them to not have relationships in person.
Right.
I'm like, no, they would like to date people. The people doing this do want to be in a relationship. They're part of the people that do want to be in it. Otherwise, they wouldn't even be doing AI girlfriends.
Right.
It's such a strange idea.
And this is an approximation.
To cite that fucking number doesn't even make any sense. Just be like, only 50% of men want to be in relationships. Like, that seems unrelated to what we're talking about.
Well, is the correct answer 100%? 100 single men should want to reproduce right now.
Quick.
Yeah.
Epidemic. It's really the enabler for this to continue.
Oh, okay.
Professor, what's going on with young women?
She stopped like with a period. Like that was it. I've said enough.
Whoa, Jesus.
None of this needs contextual.
That was like a text where you're mad and you end it with a period.
Yeah.
If this is a trend among young men, is there something similarly taking place with the ladies?
Give me a little case study. Show me a young man. This is Joe. He's 26 years old. He met his AI girlfriend when he was 18, 8 years ago. Didn't happen because they didn't have AI girlfriends back then. Sure, there's chatbots or whatever, but also relationships can end. Maybe, like no shot. It like worked perfect.
This feels almost exactly the same as like one night stands. That's what's destroying everything.
I know. Really,
ladies.
We don't see that. With as you saw, it's 2 to 1.
The ladies, dude. Fucking, that's creepy. I don't like that.
Yeah, there's men and there's ladies.
Yeah, what's going on with the little girls, huh?
What about chicks?
He's smoking.
Not to get prurient, but
my ass is about to get prurient.
Prurient.
1, the ratio of single men to single women. Young women are marrying older men because they want to have children.
You say that like that's not a thing that's like happened for a very long time.
Is that? But the older men, the computer didn't fuck the computer or whatever.
Young women are finding men from a different generation that didn't have AI girlfriends because the men from their generation are too busy talking to their AI girlfriends.
It's a shame that men of this generation won't get older. they will stay young forever because of AI.
True.
And they have a biological clock, and so you see them being with older men. And that is obviously causing huge issues with birth decline. We've had a 50% decline over the past 60 years because women...
Because of AI.
Bro!
No, wars.
I'm sorry. It feels... I think... Now, this is not my professional opinion. I'm not a data scientist, but it, to me, seems irresponsible to... use that data point without addressing how society has changed in the past 60 years. Am I wrong? Also, am I out of my mind? Am I out of my depth?
Also, I don't want to be a pedantic or prudential. I don't want to be pedantic about this. You're a data scientist. What's the exact number? Because it's not 50% on the dot.
It's like, this just feels entirely too soon to make this entire argument.
Hey, you know why boomers are called boomers? because the war ended and they had a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
And then those children did nothing until Vietnam. And then nobody had kids and then it was just a war after a war.
Yeah, imagine
and less money.
Post baby boomers, you're like, well, 60 years ago, was that baby boomers?
It was. Well, I guess that would be when they would be having kids 60 years ago. And then that would go into Gen X, which is when it really slowed down because they had no money and no water.
Yeah, okay. Baby boomers were born between 1946 and 1964. It is 2023, which means if you add 60 to the year 1964, you get 2024, which means baby boomers have been the birth rate has been declining since the baby boom, which is almost by definition what a boom is.
Yeah. Otherwise, the next Gen X would be called the Boomerers.
Yeah, and it's still booming. Won't stop booming.
Look out!
I'm from the boomiest generation.
I have too many children. Yeah, dude, that's on the Boomers. Yeah. They're fertile for 50 years or whatever. You got time.
Because okay, if I'm over indexing on that point that she's making, why even bring that point up? And also, what are the goals? Is it a problem because we need the birth rate to return to a 60-year ago thing, or do we need it to trend upward? What is the goal? I'm so confused.
And it happened because the movie Her came out.
Right.
The silent film Her came out in the early 20s.
Oh, sorry, I can't hear you. I'm too busy kissing my...
What the hell? Is that Luann? I've got to call her. She picks up the phone.
Send me the pictures I like.
Yeah. Do you have any penguins or some shit?
Honestly, babe, I'm real mad. Could you send me a penguin?
She sends boobs and like, I don't like this film.
I don't like this picture.
We've had a 50% decline over the past 60 years because women go with older men. We also see psychologically that younger women, they have more close friends, they have more wider groups of friends,
sorry,
and they are not...
I hate to keep stopping it. Did she say... Go back like 10 seconds.
The past 60 years because women go with older men. We also see psychological...
What does that... What? That doesn't make any sense.
The only argument that makes sense to me is that, which doesn't apply, is that the younger men are too busy with their AI girlfriends. Remember AI girlfriends from 1975?
They were on those like big 5 megabyte room size NASA computers.
It's like a black and white photo of like a scientist in a lab coat with the ENIAC or whatever,
kissing like the
oh fuck. What is the big code with the Benedict Cumberbatch?
Oh, Benedict Cumberbatch.
He has a movie.
The Umami Code.
The Enigma Code, is that it?
Oh, the Enigma Code. By the way, I did drop a reference when I said the ENIAC. This is the ENIAC.
Is that like what is that?
This is a computer that took up a whole room.
Jesus.
Because I'm smart. Computer science degree.
Don't worry about it.
It's cool.
I remember, of course, growing up when we would have really advanced, almost, one day they'll be 3D on our little cube CRTs.
Right,
I play Smash Melee and then I date my...
It follows... You date Peach. It follows it follows the video game arc of Improvement. So it's like they were dating Pong or whatever. And like
it kisses back and forth.
Yeah.
That became a photo instead of a little ball.
Logically, that younger women, they have more close friends, they have more wider groups of friends, and they are not being nearly as affected as young men.
Right, but that is a different thing. That's
because of AI.
That's not AI.
This sort of silent epidemic of loneliness.
Okay, so we're just talking about loneliness in general?
I have read about
incels,
involuntarily celibate guys who are angry about it. I think their argument is that women today are less approachable. Has something happened? Has something shifted in terms of the dynamics, the power dynamics between young men and young women?
No.
I guess.
Oh, no.
I do love that he said, I just learned about these incels.
Let's learn about these involuntary celibates.
That's my question.
I think there's certainly an argument there that, if you look at college campuses, there's more women than men. Women are having careers. They're having children later.
No! I'm just going to look at my phone. I'm just going to date my phone.
Because women are going to law school.
Yeah, that's true. I did once think about getting into a relationship, but then I read the metrics about how women were having careers, and then I just decided to date Luann.
Yeah, I tell you who doesn't have a bachelor's is my phone.
So there might be an argument that men need to adapt to this change in women, but calling it women's fault, I don't think is probably the right way to go.
Absolutely not women's fault.
That was a relief of an answer.
Now, absolutely not women's fault. I will say that he did not imply either that it was women's fault. And so she is jumping to like this like incel talking point and like combating it without establishing it.
Also, they need to adapt to this situation of having more of women. More whatever.
Yeah, it's like men need to adapt to the fact that women are out there. They're getting jobs. They're making friends.
They're not having phones.
It's like it's asympathetic or unsympathetic, sorry, to men to just say, now look, again, like this, we're talking about men so much because this is about the men loneliness epidemic thing, but like it's unsympathetic to men to just say men need to adapt because that's
they want to.
Yeah,
they
that's not the issue. Like there's more societal things going on, and it's also not women's fault. It's not that women are different now or anything like that.
Professor Scott Galloway, himself a professor at NYU Stern School of Business and host of a successful podcast, Professor.
No, skip the podcast.
So yeah, NYU. Okay, this sounds like a very like esteemed person. All these people seem very esteemed, which is why it's a little bit wrinkling my brain that they're having such a single track conversation devoid of contextual awareness.
I mean, hey man, there's only so much you can print if you don't have ink, right? Like it's a good printer, but they don't have anything to talk about or research. When something interesting like AI comes out, they can only rely on like the boomer brains. There's only so much they have access to.
I gotta read this op-ed.
G is the title of it. He's often been a guest of mine.
But I'm also like, it's like you could criticize that I haven't read the op-ed yet, but you're presenting the author of the op-ed and the author of the op-ed on television, knowing that the majority of the people are not going to read the op-ed and are going to hear exactly what they're saying right now, is not addressing pretty straightforward and obvious arguments.
Especially with like vague stats that really aren't applicable. And also, I'm not going to read, if CNN puts out an op-ed called "Actually Air Bud should be the only guy allowed to play basketball," I'm not going to read it. This is dumb.
Talking about the troubles among young men. I'm going to show you and everyone else something that he said to me on these airwaves about a year ago, and then you can react. Roll it.
This is getting better.
Yo, roll it. It's our podcast.
But the issue is, when you have
it's an AI of him.
I found a really smart, handsome man,
a cutie,
who said some really insightful things.
Nice fit, love his clothes.
I don't
lips.
know what it is about him. He's also got a really good sense of style.
Yeah, honestly,
they're wearing the same outfit.
He looks like, when like Urkel gets in that machine and comes out as Stefan Urkel.
Yeah.
He just looks like the Stefanik, his glasses are more fun.
He's just shot with a better camera. Yeah. Like, it's literally nothing different.
Oh, dude.
God, that's awesome.
It looks like a candid of him.
A group of men, the lower...
He's the type to say, I see myself in you. All right.
Oh.
But the issue is, when you have a group of men, the lower half of attractiveness of men in online dating, which has doubled, now it's about half of relationships, and the top 20% of men in terms of attractiveness get about 60% of the interest, you end up with a group of men that are more prone to conspiracy theory, more prone to misogynistic content, more prone to not believe in climate change.
Random.
Okay.
What
was he saying the cause of this was again?
So this is, I think this is a thing that's, now I'm not here to discredit, this guy, cause I don't know anything about this guy, but I do know in the like red pill communities, a lot of the sort of economy of dating that they talk about.
Oh, that's right.
Is that, only the Chads get all of the attractive women. Mm-hmm. And then if you're not a Chad, then you kind of are left by the wayside.
And all of the under 8 out of 10s. Ew, no way. Why would I do that?
Because you know how you know how on the Manosphere podcast, they're always like women's standards are unreasonable. They want a 6 whatever guy who's rich and who's funny and blah, blah. Men have to do so much. Women just have to do a little bit, that kind of thing.
Women just have to live a really way more challenging life and just generally be kind of disenfranchised.
No.
No, but they just delete your Instagram or I won't date
so
you.
this is like, I also don't think that's correct. I think it's okay. And I think when people are kind of crying out that they are feeling something very negative and they're feeling undercared for in the world, that's coming from somewhere. They're not just making that up. And then there are the people, the hawks, the sort of vultures that come in and they prey on that by giving them the convenient villain of like, actually it's women's fault. Their standards are too high, blah, blah, blah.
Quantifying it down into something that you can cite. Yeah. Like as a data point, like, the top 50% of attractiveness.
They say,
what the fuck are you talking about?
I'm a little bit, I don't like that.
Well, it's what it is just like, what people like when they're scared and confused is they're like, facts over feelings or whatever. And a nice thing that lets you pretend something is a fact is when it's a soundbite. It's a repeatable soundbite that you can send a TikTok clip of, a show called like Balls and Cock Hour, and no Instagram for girls. And it's just someone saying, actually, it's the top 50 percentile. And they say it like it's some kind of scientific research, when in reality, they just said it. And it has this little sinister implication that it's because women have the bad standards.
Yeah, numbers are such a false, they give such a false degree of authority, because we've already talked about the Liberty person, the professor at University of Washington, St. Louis, incredible school, very smart. Again, I cannot stress enough how this person, I am holding their word in higher regard, because I know that they're not just a random person on the internet. They're a person who became a professor at a very good school and should know about this stuff. But from a media consumer, as somebody who talks on the internet, you can't just throw these numbers out and without every number that's been said by Scott Galloway here, by Liberty Villert,
by Scott Galloway there,
Scott Galloway there. Every number that's been said has been something that we have had to hit an asterisk with and had a conversation about, because you can't just throw these numbers around because they don't mean anything in a vacuum.
And then we look at the tiny little caption highlighting the source of that data, and it's a 2.5 week study within at a bar.
Yeah.
Just like,
this kind of thing happens, and then people go, how could the polls be wrong? And it's like, and the poll was the people who would pick up their phone on a Tuesday at 3 p.m.
Yeah. I did
from a random stranger.
I did a poll of only drunk drivers to see what's wrong with the damn road.
I surveyed the r/women suck subreddit.
Scary.
And I asked them if women were good. Okay.
So this is the American story. If it's written with a pen whose ink is failing young men, does not end well. This is an existential crisis, failing young men.
Okay. Look, as someone that is maybe a little prone to overusing analogies,
I gotta tell you, sometimes you whiff, and it is not kind of him to put that clip in when it really did not hit.
He did think his drift compatible body double he did think he was spitting. He was like, let me show you this attractive, strong, beautiful man
he was distracted.
with a cool podcast.
Yeah, but what people forget about AI is that the pen, it is mightier than the sword. The ink of the American fable finds the men amongst the boys.
It's such a funny thing, or not funny thing, it's such a difficult thing to talk about, because I am someone who could hear the We're Failing Young Men, which is also parroted by your Jordan Petersons of the world, and roll my eyes, right? But here we are making an express interest to try to acknowledge that there is a loneliness epidemic. There are young men who feel failed by society, and that has created a target for grifters and people. And so
opening with reasonable shit is the metronome you set so that anytime somebody starts to criticize, you're like, it's a very normal rhythm. Normal. I said at the start, hey, the sky's blue. And also maybe the age of consent should be 10. And then like, wait, hold the fuck on. What'd you say? I said, the sky's blue, I said.
It's kind of like when he randomly said, don't believe in climate change or whatever. We're like, wait, hold on. Speak on that.
I mean, this whole thing is like if people were blaming climate change on like, they just said like, so there's a hole in the ozone. We don't know why, but it turns out that there's a bunch of natural disasters happening. Do you think it's because my phone has like a lady on it?
Isn't it crazy that the hole in the ozone is no longer a concern because we stopped using? It's a huge success of collective action.
I remember that being literally all people would talk about in terms of, I mean, to like almost a effusive, like a obscure degree. Like people would not talk about anything else related to climate change. But when I was like 10 years old, the ozone layer concern was like 9/11. It was like at 9/11 every day.
Yeah. In the year 2000, the ozone reached its maximum size. The hole in the ozone layer reached its maximum size in 2000 and has stopped increasing in size since. And I'm like, we should talk about that more.
We should get another one.
It's attributable to phasing out of ozone depleting substances under the Montreal Protocol. And yeah. So anyway,
it says it's actually because of AI, sexy AI, big booby goth.
Yeah, like fluorocarbons and stuff.
AI women became so huge that they could grab the ozone layer and sew it together or whatever.
Oh my God.
Makes sense to you, Professor Vittert?
Absolutely. You know, what happens is these young men get in these AI relationships, and because the AI learns from you
Okay, we're back to AI. Okay, so God. He just spit.
Sorry, what the fuck?
And
is that his name?
Let's go back to what he said just to like refresh. Sorry,
show you the lower half of attractiveness of men in online dating.
So he just spits out that attractiveness thing.
Is doubled. Now it's about half of relationships, and the top 20% of men in terms of attractiveness get about.
But I'm to be completely frank, I am so surprised that like in my head, NYU Stern School of Business is like a pretty serious esteem, right? And to be throwing out this like kind of ballparky attractiveness math and stuff feels like so like
none of it feels academic.
It doesn't feel academic.
To be a legitimate academic with genuine interest in like accuracy, for that to be your priority, which it has to be good at it, you can't also be a clout chasing media consultant person. No matter how good the college, fucking 20% of them are idiots. It's just it doesn't matter where you go.
Yeah, no.
But those are the ones that, because they don't care about or aren't good at the craft that they went there to do, they go on shows like this, get paid $40,000 to just say like, that like actually men and a phone is like they are married.
I know when they
use the lightning slot to have sex.
He has a podcast called Professor G, and I was like, okay.
All right, chill out.
All right.
About 60% of the interest, you end up with a group of men that are more prone to conspiracy theory, more prone to misogynistic content,
So he's drawing a direct line, because it literally is comma in a sentence to the next thing. So he's saying, because all the attractive chads get all the ladies, specific word choice, that leads to men who are prone to misogynistic content and not believing in climate change.
Which just coincidentally happen to be things that maybe would jeopardize the possibility of a relationship, make somebody less attractive, being difficult might make people not want to date you.
I think that he's like skipping a few steps too, right? Because like, I feel like, because your perception is that all the chads are getting all the ladies. That might not even be the reality, right? Because spoiler alert, the chads cannot date all the ladies at once.
Well, that's the problem, is it's starting at the end and it's not true. It's like it's like when you see those conspiracy theories, it's like, I guess Obama did crack and got his dick sucked in limo, and then you're like, well, yeah, but that's not true. And he goes, yeah, but you can imagine it being true. And he's like, right, I guess if that did happen, it would be interesting. If it was true that all the chads were getting other women. Whereas instead, that's just what a kid thinks. Like, when you don't get something that you want, if you don't engage with it critically, if you engage with it like a kid, your first thought is like, somebody else, it's like somebody's taking it from me. It's not like something bad's just happening outside of my control or somebody else's. It's like, I think it's all the Chads doing this to me, which means that women literally are being objectified. Like they're acquirable items, which means that the women are being selfish and choosing these other guys just because they're pleasant to be around.
Yeah, there's so many like implications here that are not being said because they're just being like jumped through. Like
this is all dog whistles.
Where it's like it's a minefield of dog whistles, like everywhere you step. So if the top 20% of guys are getting top 60% of women, the top 20% of guys cannot marry the top 60% of women. That's not, most of these people are in monogamous relationships.
They're not all in Utah.
So then there's like 40 some odd percent of women that now feel like they deserve the Chads and thus are not willing to settle for the lower, what he described as the lower like half of attractive men or whatever.
You keep treating that like it's an objective measure, by the way. Like,
I agree.
It's almost like have you ever heard or like been near like Bible study or something where you just realize how little access you have to all the references being made, or like somebody talking about like deep DC comics lore? I'm like, I mean, damn, I don't hate numbers, but this doesn't really seem to make sense. Yeah. Like they out of nowhere just go like, well, you know how attractiveness is legally numbers based. That's just like, true and we all believe it.
Yeah, it's like, because it's so, it's a great point, because I almost forgot to mention that like it is possible that you, like the premise here is that attractiveness is so objective that you would rather, like if you could date someone with a better number or whatever, like a hotter attractiveness quotient, then you would just like skip up to that person, and that ignores the fact of like compatibility and love and just like personality and what the millions of things that make two people have a successful relationship.
And what exactly?
None of which are
it keeps bringing all this up and then not giving a hypothesis for why, and only leaving pretty computer lady. Because even in that example, it's like, okay, well, what was it then when all the boomers did get married? What was the difference? Why did that happen? Well,
that was dating apps. In 1960? That's right, No. That was, it was AI girlfriends and dating apps.
Also, okay, guess what? Somebody can like tell me I'm wrong, whatever. There's no fucking way 50% of relationships are from dating apps. I don't believe
That's funny. I get that. I mean,
that is some bubble shit.
I will come out publicly and say I am a person who has spent a lot of money on dating apps. I'll say it. It just makes the experience better as a consumer for me, or has made the experience better historically. And I have no shame in that. And but dating apps suck. But I do get it. I do get it, because I do know a lot of people who met via dating apps.
I just think that it's a little like when people refer to Twitter as a representation of the country, because first of all, like based on what census? Like what are you everyone? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What they're referencing is, hey, we got in touch with like 5% of Tinder users in the Bay Area, and we reviewed how many of them are. There is literally no way 50% of the country. I don't believe you. How a lot of those existed before dating apps. I know. Especially if it's probably some sort of 150% of men are dating robots or whatever.
It's probably one of those things where it's like men within this time window of we're only considering relationships that have formed in the past so and so amount of time. 50% of new relationships between August to September 2022 or whatever.
There are a suspicious number of like evocative stats that just so happen to be 50%. The easiest and kind of most intuitive number.
Right, 50% of marriages fail.
Yeah, did you know that? Just 50% of guys are ugly,
I guess that. I guess in that you create it because you go the lower half of attractiveness. So like, even if 99% of people were attractive, then the lower half would still be 50% of the
everyone
lowest.
5 and under is less attractive.
All right.
prone to not believe in climate change. So this is the American story. If it's written with a pen whose ink is failing young men, does not end well. This is an existential crisis, failing young men.
Just doing a book report, but didn't read the book.
Yes, Huck Finn, and they were on the water, and the painting a fence, I think, was there somewhere. And the guy's name is insane, right? Something like that.
Agree. Didn't read. So his point is
insane,
failing him in bad, and we can't do it. It's going to ruin everything.
Okay.
And so here's how Professor Liberty Vittert responds.
His computer.
Makes sense to you, Professor Vittert?
Absolutely. You know, what happens is these young men get in these AI relationships, and because the AI learns from you exactly what you like and you don't.
This does not feel like it addresses what she just watched.
What about the 50% of people that met through dating apps? Is the dating app the AI app?
What happens is, anyway, back to, are you selling a book about AI? I genuinely am like, what is this magnet that's pulling you to keep blaming everything on AI girlfriends when a year ago that guy didn't even utter those words? Okay.
So weird.
Don't like, you end up having these perfect relationships so that when you go into real life and you try to have a relationship, the most human thing we can do, it's not perfect and there's ups and downs, and they're not able to deal with these ups and downs, not only in relationships but in life in general.
Because of AI?
Because they're because AI relationships are so prevalent already,
of course,
that men getting into relationships expect them to be perfect. So they don't have any capacity to navigate difficulty.
We now live in a world where people break up, where relationships have issues.
Right, because they used to be, because now relationships can be perfect because AI relationships are perfect in every way.
Okay. So, here's another thing let's elephant in the room a little bit. Incels as a word kind of includes a pretty important part of this that makes this make no sense. Incels name themselves that because they involuntarily aren't getting to have sex.
They're cool.
And their solution to that is get a girlfriend that you can't have sex with.
So the other thing about this is that to compare a relationship with an AI and to call that perfect is like me saying I have a perfect relationship with Pokemon Go because it doesn't argue with me. You know what I mean? Like different. If I'm dating somebody, I don't go, well, I can't, she's great, but she won't let me do a Mega Salamence raid. And so, yeah.
This is making me realize, though, I'm playing a fair bit of Baldur's Gate still. Me and Shadowheart do have a connection that I think is maybe a little bit more profound than the real relationship that I am in, because sometimes when we get Uber Eats, we aren't always able to choose it right away. But when I'm playing the game with Shadowheart, she doesn't even. I just order the Uber Eats.
Yeah, and then Shadowheart can't eat the Uber Eats.
Oh yeah, I guess
she lets me have alcohol because she's so portion. Generous.
Yeah, she doesn't Venmo me though. That's annoying.
So
perfect though.
I just think that it is wild to, I won't say that if you are lonely and using AI relationships as a supplement for real relationships, it's an apples to oranges comparison, but it's certainly not apples to apples. And I refuse to believe that people in 2023 are holding it, but at a percentage that's notable and something that we need to fearmonger about on CNN, are holding real life relationships to the standard of their AI relationships. I have seen no evidence in my own life of that. And I would love to hear more evidence than just hand waving around metrics that are unsourced.
I have no backup for this because we really don't know yet. I genuinely think that AI dating apps, if they really are even somewhat fulfilling as they're being explained to be, which who knows, I guess that'll maybe prove to be true. Again, it's a little early to say anything super conclusive with data. Maybe we shouldn't be doing that yet. Seems like a net positive to me seems like if these are resentful or challenged or lonely people, and they have some outlet to at least feel a little bit of companionship, I don't think the result of that is they become more mean and think climate change is even less real.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
It seems like it would take the edge off.
Yeah, what the?
Because guess what? You can cheat on an AI girlfriend. You can if it like I said, this is like a Band-Aid. I feel like more often it's going to be a Band-Aid than a true replacement of human interaction. And so if it's like if the only way you could, I mean, I guess this is some people's reality depending on your religion, but if it's like the only way that you could have any sort of sexual gratification was through a committed relationship, then you might feel like on edge that you couldn't like let some steam off without that. But guess what? Porn didn't ruin the existence of pornography didn't ruin humanity. I guess some people believe that though.
Yeah, and they have to, because otherwise they have to contend with the fact that it's more complicated and scarier.
Yeah, it's like.
Also, people are always going to point. I'm sure, like as more and more of this happens, there's going to be more and more profiles of people that are specifically like power users, super enthusiasts. Almost like that clip we saw. There's going to be that equivalent of we may even get comments that are like, yeah, but there's a lot of people addicted to porn. I'm like, not most people. Yeah. It's not like most people are addicted to porn. It's not like most people that even download one of these apps is only going to date the AI girlfriend.
Right. I think it's a weirdly alarmist thing that starts at what if the worst case scenario happened 100% of the time?
Yeah.
It's like people get into car accidents and that's bad. Some people die, but that form of transportation has revolutionized society.
I don't think it's going anywhere.
Yeah.
I'd say probably
it's not ruining a generation.
Probably a net positive overall. Not having to live in a village of 10 people or whatever.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, well, there's pros and there's cons, right? But I don't think anyone's making the argument. I guess I do think cars have done a number on cities. And building cities to be focused on cars versus like public transportation and stuff like that
especially West Coast.
Is overall like damaging. But I still wouldn't argue that the like invention of the car ruined society.
No, that's why London slaps. Like you can still get around. Cars existed in England for quite some time.
Right.
It's just the fact that car lobby here made incentives. It wasn't because cars were
great point.
Sick.
There's places other than America, one, and also there's places with great transportation, and none of those places have outlawed cars entirely. So there's still value. So anyway.
Let's outlaw AI girlfriends so that everyone falls in love.
Basically.
By the way, it's starting to make sense why they didn't pay for and use the app, because you would immediately see that it is hilarious how big a deal they're making of it.
And we did pay for and use the app. So we're going to do that right after this. I don't know why I sounded like I was throwing to an ad.
Professor Vittert, if a young man has an AI girlfriend, is there shame in that? In other words, is this the sort of thing that you share with your buddy, or are you keeping it a secret?
Oh, I see.
Like a family account?
I thought he was just asking if it's shameful. Like, why are you asking this data scientist if something is shame? Like, they're not the arbiter of shame. But I see what they're saying.
Are the vibes off?
They're saying, are people hiding this information?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's interesting. It started off as something that was kept secret, sort of like the porn industry. Young men wouldn't talk about porn, or that was Playboy was hidden behind some house somewhere. But then it became part of the normal conversation, and that's what we're.
And now we always talk about Playboy and porn.
Yeah, of course, it's dangerous.
It's the thing we always talk about.
Playboy destroyed the 15-minute city.
Seen with AI girlfriends is now it is becoming part of the normal conversation, and it's no longer shameful, which means it becomes significantly bigger.
Right.
Okay.
And it isn't an issue.
I
didn't really
don't believe you. I think it's quite shameful. I think if someone was in a real AI relationship, I do not know it. I've never in my life seen someone who's shouting that from the rooftops.
Yeah, part of
the reason I don't know anybody is because it must be some degree of shameful if it's as big as it is. To the degree, and I've never heard of someone doing it.
It's almost like CNN would report on it. How rare it is, or how relatively new it is. Also, Playboy was a publication that people bought with money.
Yeah,
it being hidden somewhere secret. That's one of those weird nostalgia glasses thing. It's like, yeah, maybe when you were a kid.
Also,
and, like,
it was hidden somewhere secret for like the 13-year-olds I knew who stole their dad's Playboy.
How would
because they weren't supposed to have it as a child.
Yeah, do you think it was every single time somebody went and bought a Playboy, it was like buying condoms? You're like, as a 25-year-old, like, sorry, I'm so ashamed.
Or there's so many other things. It's just like, also as a society, we were more uncomfortable. I think we like started out more prudish, or at least like, if you go back to like America and like the 50s and stuff like that, like not talking about sex, similarly to how we like didn't talk about mental health or whatever. And then slowly we kind of talk about those things, and then certain problems arise that probably were always problems, but were never spoken about.
Yeah.
So they feel like they're being invented today.
Yeah, more divorces happening out of nowhere.
More divorces happening. More people are mentally ill. What's the happening? It's almost as if it's a little bit more socially acceptable to talk about your feelings. Listen to Sad Boys.
And more, oddly enough, more women are pushing for divorce, getting divorced, and then not becoming destitute because they have no source of income.
Yeah.
That's weird.
And I'm sure it's only going to get better and better.
How do you know, man? You didn't even pay $9 to find out.
I'm sure it's going to get better and better. I don't know.
Also, why did they shout out Cupid.ai? They haven't talked about it this whole time. That's just free advertising.
That's because if they show the clips they were showing, people would be like, this
paid?
sucks.
And I'm wondering the impact that it's going to have on a young man's... I'm showing one of these avatars right now. I'm also wondering, much like porn being ubiquitous, it's going to raise expectations, right? If porn is so accessible among young men, they're going to have expectations that that's, the natural course of business, when perhaps it isn't. I think
her voice is weird.
Okay, so part of the issue, and I do think that like people have been porn brained, and that is a problem. But I think it's another sort of outcropping of a different problem, which is like, it's not okay to talk about sex. It's not okay to talk about what's sexually healthy. One of the only places that people can learn about sexual health without shame is in porn. And so that gives a bad, or not, it gives a bad, but it gives a warped perspective on what porn is, which is very dramatized and like kind of like this fake world that's being created where certain things happen because it's like the clickbait of of sex.
And they also, whatever they talk, again, it's another thing that they talk about, like it's some kind of like endemic natural thing, like the trees and the wind. It's like, porn that, from there was 3,000 years ago, God created the skies and the birds and pornography.
Right.
And then we just had it forever. But be careful. Like Adam ate the apple of porn.
Right. Like I think that like porn, what was he saying the problem with porn was? Oh, raising expectations. So, I don't think that there would be such a problem with porn raising expectations if we as a society outside of porn had more conversations about sex and what porn is, because porn is like reality the way that movies are like reality.
Yeah.
It's
if we didn't talk about driving
acting.
And you saw like Fast and Furious, you'd be like, I guess I should drive like that?
Yeah.
Because everyone's refusing to talk to me about it.
And then people would be like, there's this huge problem where people all over the country are driving really fast. Stop it. It's too fast.
And it's because of Fast and Furious.
And it's because,
to have expectations that that's, the natural course of business, when perhaps it isn't. I think I'll say it that way. And similarly, when there's an avatar who looks like that, it too is going to set expectations.
Ooh, he's being prudent.
Yeah, he just admitted when the avatar is so sexy.
He's like wiping the sweat from his brow. When the avatar is so prurient or whatever.
Oh man, not to get prurient, but when the avatar looks at me with her dead eyes and her mouth that moves independent of the rest of her body.
You get the final word.
You can set things down to their rear end size. So you can...
She's saying you can pick a big ass if you want a big ass. You can give your AI girlfriend a BBL, dude.
This truly is reporting for like 60-year-olds. Like, did you know you can customize the character? I'm like, right. What do you think I thought?
Yeah, like, because that also exists where you can like You can find attractive women on the internet who just post pictures of themselves, and you get to pick. You get to pick which ones you look. If you like them in short skirts, you can find somebody who posts in short skirts. If you like somebody with a small butt, there's probably somebody out there with a small butt, and you can follow them, and that's ruining the expectations of society.
You can also pick in real life. It's slower than a slider or whatever they're talking about, but it's also like, I mean, it does sound truly exactly like, there's these new dating apps and they might not even be the photo. They could look different than the photo. It could be someone else completely. Yeah. I'm like, why are you telling me this? That's just a natural, of course it could be someone else. You know, it could be a dragon. You can just turn up, it could be Bigfoot.
Right. Oh, that's your phone.
You can have it. Just don't touch my girlfriend on there.
Some social media allowed, so don't tap out yet. Let's see what we have. Put it up on the screen. Here we go. Human relationships are hard. AI relationships are easy. It's unhealthy for technology to save us from all of life's challenges, says Conspiracy Crush. But Professor Vitter...
The problem is the false equivalence that's being drawn here between AI relationships and real relationships. They are fundamentally different things.
I don't think... It's not that, like, people are waiting for technology to save them from all of life's challenges. It's that they don't have another solution. Yeah. They're going like, if you're drowning in the ocean and someone's like, you could try this app. Okay, no one else is saving me. I don't know what to do. Yeah. You can't just stop using the phone. Also, just suffer quietly.
Also, it's unhealthy for technology to save us from all of life's challenges. It's like somebody with who needs glasses.
Yeah. Hey.
It's like, hey, life is tough. Seeing is easy.
I can't see
Glasses make seeing really easy. Not that, obviously, not to draw that influence. I'm making a joke.
Genie back in the bottle, right?
I'm not sure there is a way to keep the AI genie back in the bottle. I think we have to address these issues at the root of them, which is where this loneliness starts. And
I agree.
And what would that be?
The root is the AI girlfriends. We must kill them.
And that will be what solves this.
We're close to getting. Yeah. So are we going to talk about the root causes, or are we going to be alarmist about AI girlfriends for 9 minutes out of 9 minutes and 45 seconds without ever mentioning a potential root cause?
We have a little less than 30 seconds.
And now we're about to tease it. Let's find out.
One more social media.
Oh, okay. Oh, I get maybe the tweet is solving the issue.
Put it up if you can, Jordan, and I'll read it aloud. What do we have? AI is a quick fix that will eventually backfire, I think, says Kelly. I think the backfire...
The tweet that they chose was someone who was 1 foot out of their argument.
The quick fix, whatever.
Or maybe not. I don't know.
Okay.
Says Kelly. I think the backfiring, Professor Vittert, has already begun, and the level of sophistication when the pair...
The captions have not once spelled her name consistently.
It's worse than us.
It's like Professor Vetter. They just said Professor Vineyard, which is awesome.
Level of sophistication when the pairing that you referenced is now a part of this drill. My God, the world's coming to hell in a handbasket. Your final thought is yours.
I think we're going to see what we only dreamed of in the movies, and it's not a really good reality.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
That's a good solution.
There's so much to criticize AI for and like be alarmist about, but this was like such a clumsy way of it. They picked such an interestingly bad angle for why AI is bad.
It's also pretty gauche to hit them with the Actually, they're doing exactly what we were talking about with grifters, where you have to say something kind of based to then pivot to but also Frozen makes you gay or whatever.
Yeah.
They're like, we have to solve the root problem. Anyway, good luck.
The top comment, I am truly shocked about this. Sakura promised me in chat that I'd be her only one, and now this report showed me she is open to have more boyfriends. They're getting kind of cooked. Men didn't need to adapt. They did. They made AI girlfriends. Male loneliness isn't a disease, it's a symptom. Oh, wait. I don't know what they're trying to say, actually. I don't, there's literally. This argument was all about men, so I think it was like, that's why we focused on men. Yeah. But the problems affecting men affect women as well, and non-binary folk as well, because it affects how the men are treating their environment, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and the people around them. Sorry, not that non-men are environmental objects. What I meant to say is the men are treating everyone around them in a way that's reflective of how they feel, which is, maybe not good right now.
And everyone else around them
has to deal with it
separately, suffering from the root societal causes that the men are reacting to.
Yes,
so they get double the hit.
Exactly. There's so much happening. Yeah, there's so many problems, and a lot of those things do not only affect men, like you're saying.
And I don't know. It's just so lazy. It's just such a lazy idea to hit them with the get out of jail free card of like, oh, by the way, we should solve the root problems, and then smoke bomb away from the interview.
I'm genuinely pretty surprised because and maybe this is a authority bias that I have, but if you had told me just the clout, the esteem of the people speaking on this, I would have assumed they said something way smarter than what they said.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was so weird that they had a data expert and a business professor talking about like sociology and psychology issues.
And half the questions
Great point, Jacob. Yeah. Holy shit.
Then half their questions were like, is this shameful?
Yeah. I'm like, you're out of your depth. I'm a little bit like this, like, what does this have to do with data science?
It wasn't about data.
Yeah. So I'm like, is this just on the side? This is like a interest area for you? Because I thought like the data science thing was going to be like, oh, the op-ed includes a lot of analysis. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Which is the science that you do with data. And I didn't see any of that. And I saw no sources of it and no references to it. No, if I had some interesting insight of some data that I'd analyzed, like a large data set over a long period of time or something, I would be speaking on that pretty regularly. Here's what we found in the data. Mm-hmm. Well, we found out that here's what you would think, but when we analyzed the data based on X, Y, and Z, here's what we found. Dude, I would expect graphs. We didn't see a lot of anything.
I would expect data of some kind.
In science, perhaps.
I 1000% know why the talking head is a data scientist. Or at least, not just that they wrote the op-ed, but also that they would have them on something like this. It is because to the average viewer, those words are related to AI. And it is...
Yeah.
It's data scientist. I'm not going to have a sociologist to come on and talk about a computer.
Maybe
they're
even
data scientists.
Yeah, it's like there's two worlds that I can think of. There's like a world where there's a world where it's malicious and there's a world where it's incompetence.
Oh yeah.
And sure. and I could believe either. I haven't like made up my mind.
They're dual wielding too.
Yeah,
I mean, ultimately doing stuff like this, it's privatized news, it's money. I mean, it's generating revenue. So are visits and subscriptions to the op-ed itself. Yeah. So are the YouTube views. It's for money. It has to be. That's what op-eds especially are for. And there is no reason to report on this outside of it just being provocative and worth reacting to. In our case, it's so. I don't think it's evil. Like I can be charitable enough to be like, okay, it's just a little much, but it's, I think, irresponsible as a quote unquote journalist, though I think maybe that puts that in jeopardy.
Yeah.
And a quote unquote data scientist.
Right.
This feels like if you went like and did a cooking class and you're like, I'm a data scientist. I'm like, we're not here. You're just cooking food.
Right. Like, because it's like I want to give full respect to this person's area of expertise. And I'm like not convinced that they're coming from their field in this regard. This doesn't feel related to their field, and there was nothing that, like we were saying, there's nothing other than a few random numbers that give it a data science, like that make it data science. I think that this is like the what is the sociological thing where it's like the negative news bias. How news, you think a plane crash is more likely than it is because it's like selection. Sure. It's a form of selection bias, which is that like we've pulled Like the news always reports on every plane crash.
Sure, of course.
And so you now think plane crashes happen more often than they are when there's millions and millions and millions of planes that are going just fine.
Sure. Yeah. This is a very vibes-based data.
It was wild. Is this what the news is?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey man, got the.
I mean, they said hashtag news in the video.
Hashtag news.
Damn.
What do I want to watch? A little bit of hashtag news.
Well, this has been a ride. Thank you so much for listening to this chunky episode of Sad Boys. We had some feelings. We had some other things also. And we will be jumping on over to patreon.com/sadboys, where we are going to pay the $9.99 that Mr. Smerconish did not
have the integrity.
Did not have the integrity to do, because we're the real journalists. We're not. But we are going to be the ones to date our AI girlfriends.
Sakura's mine.
We are failing a generation of men.
I'm not having any kids.
We end every episode of Sad Boys with a particular phrase.
We love you.
And we're sorry.
Boom.
Gucci girl, how you doing? How you moving, girl? Moving, girl. How's your day looking? That future girl, yeah, we on now. Take my money, go away, all you want it. Get too rich for me.